Matthew Richardson, so he'll follow him all the way around the ground.
Sunday night football is go from the Dome. Enjoy it with us on Fox Sports AFL as Wojcinski trying to paddle it forward. Expect a feverish intensity early.
Probably means with pretty much attacking players. I can't imagine Delidio's going to run with too much, or range for that matter, that we're going to see a pretty high scoring match here. Maybe a shootout. Certainly I think that'll favour the Cats.
Third man up, generating the hit out for the Tigers. Jackson against Chapman there. Ball held in. Will be another bounce.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Daniel. Just hold it, hold.
Calvin Moore on Steve Johnson, and he's playing deep. He may even sneak into the goal square and become a full forward.
Good tackle put on by Pettifer. Foley punching the hand pass out. Now McGuan. Quick hands. Pettifer caught. Back for Foley. Got around Ling. Now Jackson. Spears it deep to the hot spot. Tambling at the back. Plays for the free. Play on the call. Milburn clears to Scarlett.
That's what I'm talking about, Spud. James Bartel will get 35 possessions today if he's allowed to run free.
The Ablett brothers trying to wax it there. The kick wide for Nathan. We'll get a boundary throw in.
I like that matchup there, Polak and Nathan Ablett. If the ball comes in high, you expect Polak to beat him. But on the lead, if Nathan Ablett, if they can hit him up, Polak may trail him in. And
already a change. Jackson off and Oakley Nichols on.
Whistle for a free. You heard the call all over in Brad Ottens to get the free. Back to the centre corridor. Having to wait a moment. Mackie, who had it 22 times last week in the loss to the Roos, and it was Newman who read it very well.
This bloke is a gun. He is still underrated because he's playing in a side that hasn't played final football for some time, but Chris Newman is a genuine star.
This is Cleve Hughes going short for McGuan, so a couple of the Tigers' 20-year-olds in collaboration there. Out wide for the recruit Polak, who's still just 22. And showed good signs last week, although his kick, well, he made Newman work. And here's Steve Johnson, the returning Johnson, giving it off to Kelly. Now Ablett takes
good
off.
Speed.
He's got a man long. It's Varco. One grab, two. Is he off? No, he'll go back and have a shot.
Well, Gary Ablett, his ability to break the tag there was absolutely sensational. Just never loses his feet. And that was a great kick there to Varco. Rains, we see Ablett just take Joel Bowden on, but just a great kick to space. He was aware that Rains was up the ground.
Varco to complete the formalities. Oh, he's just squeezed it through for the opening goal. Sure.
Joel Bowden pretty keen to tell the umpire he thought it may have just grazed the post. But it was a dicey kick through to the middle of the ground, and there was the turnover. And Steve Johnson, they just worked the ball with hands and got out of the pressure. It's not a good sign. Richmond should have really monstered them there with that tackle. But as you said, Spud, Gary Ablett was able to speed clear.
Also, the fact that Johnson did a defensive pursuit there, Jared, I think Bomber Thompson would be wrapped with that.
Okay, we're up, straight up. Jump at the footy.
Ottens down for Corey. Quick hands out wide. Meyer is wrapped up. Oh, they are hard out at the Cats, says forecast. We'll get a bounce.
What's quite interesting is you see Gary Ablett just on the top of screen there. His direct opponent's Newman. Newman's allowing Ablett to come up into that stoppage there.
Simmons the hit out. Ineffective. Bartel sharked it. Quick flurry of handballs ends up with Mackie kicking wide, and here's Johnson. Onto the right, there's space for the forwards to lead here. It's Nathan Ablett coming out. Marks in front of Polak. Now Mooney back at the top of the screen there with Joel Bowden. Here's that matchup. Mooney in front. Bowden to try and spoil. Does so effectively. Kelly misfires with a sock out.
Well, it's a great start there for Geelong. Nathan Ablett just leading up. You've got to honour the lead on a guy like Polak.
Cats deep in attack. McGuan tied up by Varco. Going nowhere. Umpire letting them play. Oakley Nichols caught by Varco as well. Foley threw it out, and it's a Geelong free, virtually directly in front.
You just threw it straight up to him. There was no attempt whatsoever. No attempt. There's the mark there.
Foley not happy with the decision.
Well, I think he's got every right. I thought he got his right fist just to that Clinton enough to say it was a handball.
And Ottens could be the beneficiary here as he makes his return after a fortnight out with a hip injury. A man who played 129 games for the boys from Punt Road. This to give the Cats a flying start. Oh, and Danny knows plenty about those sort of kicks.
Well, normally he's a fantastic kick there, Clinton. I think he just tried to kick the ball too hard. You know, he just didn't follow through properly.
Big let-off. Newman's kick nearly intercepted by Ablett. Bowden spirits the hand pass away in a hurry. Corey, Cats have started well. Here's Johnson. He's looking, centering to Chapman.
You called it, Jared. He had Bartel and Chapman, and I think that's a great start for Johnson. You could have put it against Johnson, say, have a crack at the goal and get one for his team, but that was a great team kick to the corridor. Two options. Worrying signs here early for the Tigers.
Yeah, they haven't gone close to getting it deep inside their forward 50. Great start, as you said, by Steve Johnson. He's got himself probably fit for the first time in his life, and this will just be a base for him. He won't believe, if he works really hard, just how much fitter he can get over the next 2 or 3 years if he puts in the big miles.
Chapman from 35. It's all Geelong. Big start this from the Cats.
Well, we really need the Tigers to just rebound. They've just been off the pace at the present time. They've got to get the ball into their forward 50. They've got a dangerous forward line, Spud. We've had one foray in there, and Townley could have got a free kick. But they have got 3 or 4 genuine goal kickers down there.
Yeah, well, the key is the midfield, Jared. Chapman, Ling's doing a really good job. I know it's only early, but he's got Delidio, so Delidio's going to have to work for his possessions today.
No touches to Delidio, none to Rains, none to Hyde. Some of their major possession winners nowhere near the footy.
Tigers with just 6 kicks in 7 minutes as a team, as Ottens and Simmons contest in the middle.
Another goal, Clinton. You've got to get the captain on.
Chapman putting the pressure on. We'll get a bounce.
Clinton, Mark Thompson will be wrapped with the start. You look at the contested possession, 7-3, and every time the ball goes back to the umpire, normally it was a Richmond player there, but a Geelong player is handing the ball back to the umpire.
Ling continues to shadow Delidio as Ottens wins the hit out. The ricochet to Wajinski, who's caught. And advantage play on to the Tigers. High ball from Pettifer to half forward, and the man in front is Egan. Hits the ground running, delivers to Chapman on the wing.
Pettifer's got to take stock. He nearly overrun a goal opportunity. That went up in the air. Then he dropped his head. He missed Bartel picking him up, and he's playing, I reckon, for his spot in the side today.
Hasn't set the world on fire yet, Cone Pettifer, this season, as Meyer drops the mark. Can he knock it on there? He's got Richo running for him. He brought it back in. He's gone, but the umpire's given him some leniency, said held in.
Well, that's a good decision there, Clinton. Too often we see the umpires playing hold of the ball, but you see here Meyer grabbed the ball, just didn't have prior opportunity. Good decision there from Hayden Kennedy.
Tigers, a rare trip inside 50, nullified by Chapman, goes short, squeezing the kick to Bartel.
Is that 15?
It was about 12 and a half.
To midfield, Wajinski. They try to effect a quick switch. This is Gary Ablett. Running for him is Scarlett. Now, Mooney's presenting at half forward. Scarlett going even wider to Nathan Ablett at full stretch. Couldn't hang on. We'll get a boundary throw in.
One thing I've noticed early with Geelong, their ability to play on. As soon as the mark or free kick, they're rolling off, either kicking the ball or using a handball receive.
They've had 29 possessions to 15, and they're winning a free kick here, 3-0 in that category. Ottens again.
Well, he's had a good start here, Brett, so should have had 1 goal on the board.
Will he go long? Bowden and Mooney, one match up there. Nathan Ablett and Pollack the other. Not 15 is the call. Here goes Kelly. Dances around a couple of Tigers from 45 out in the Mooney direction. Pollack.
Big plus last week for them, finding a little bit of form for the Tigers down back.
Well, that's his strength, Pollack. The high ball, he reads the play well.
More high ball.
Spearing it to Pettifer.
It would certainly help Graham Pollack.
Newman on a collision course with Johnson. It's a good deal to get a throw.
Great courage from both players there. In particular, Chrissy Newman. Just as Jared said, he's a very good player. Look, eyes for the ball where that's a great contest. That's what makes AFL football so great.
Johnson with the job on Tambling early. He's alongside of Meyer now as he watches Mackie feet. Corey running through the middle, going long. Can Mooney get there on the full? No. Foot race. Him and Joel Bowden. Bowden in front. Mooney the tackle will get a throw in.
Come off your hand, though. Count the handball.
Jared, you play all your career in the midfield. Just from the stoppages, Geelong are just breaking the space far too easy for mine.
Yeah, it's one-way traffic at the moment. Not enough pressure, and I think they're here on a mission at the moment, Geelong, and Richmond are going to do pretty well to stay competitive in this early part. They really just have to hold.
The Cats' best this year has been awesome. A 13-goal victory against Carlton, a 52-point win against Melbourne as Kane Johnson readies himself for action. Their losses, 20 points to the Bulldogs, 4 to the Hawks, and 16 to the Kangaroos last week. So they haven't been horrid by way of margins in those losses.
Ling's chasing Delidio. Delidio's trying to get onto Bartel.
And Ling's getting the footy. Handballing for Wajinski. Goes long to the goal square. Bowden gets back there.
We've got Ottens on Richardson now. You saw that rap tap from Brad. All due respect to Matty, that is a real danger sign for the Tigers.
Kelly caught by Tambler. Now Wajinski swings onto the right. Short ball. Varco. Will he work with Kelly? He can't. It's over for a throw-in. 40 around from the Geelong goal.
As we'll see this boundary throw in here, and we've got Matty Richardson versus Brad Ottens, so you'd expect Ottens to win this.
8-1 inside 50s already. Geelong #1 in the AFL for inside 50s this year at an average of 57 as the Tigers win a free.
And you saw there on screen Jared Oakley-Nichols trying to get with Cameron Ling. They're just trying to expose them for pace at the present time, trying to get Delidio onto Bartel, and Oakley-Nichols, much more pace than Ling. But I just got a feeling that the Cats are going to win the battle on this one.
Raines running into the back pocket for that possession. Going short. Oakley-Nichols, the teenager with a dangerous ball. Chapman forced the contest, keeps his feet, now goes to ground and got pushed in the back and can line up Geelong's third goal.
Well, you see a little bit of blood on Chrissy Newman, then he'll be coming off very shortly, you would have thought.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a poor kick. If you're going to cross the ground into that dangerous area, you've got to spear the ball. You can't give it any hang time at all.
Yeah, Chris Newman coming off the blood through. He wouldn't be too happy with that kick, Jared, there. That, if you're going to make a mistake, make a long one down the line. Don't have a short, dinky little kick with air that is fraught with danger.
Would not have looked out of place at the MGM Grand earlier today. The big bout between De La Hoya and Mayweather, Jared, just filling you in there after you gave me a quizzical look.
Oscar?
Floyd on points in a split decision. Here's Chapman. I hope I haven't spoiled it for anyone who's going to catch a replay later tonight. Here's Chapman from inside the 50 for Geelong's third. What a start this is. He's got 2.
Well, he's backed it up, Jared. Yep. He had a lot to say during the week, and you can talk as much as you like, but it's what happens out on the field of play, and we see the kick here from Oakley-Nichols. Gee, he'd love to have that again. Chapman, terrific effort. The second effort, that's what I like. He's just head over the ball, and Chrissy Newman just a little bit overzealous there. Was probably just frustrated from the kick from Jared Oakley-Nichols. The 2 goals to start with Chapman. He is white hot at the moment.
How did he miss a spot in the leadership group?
Wasn't from playing ability, that's for sure.
Newman getting patched up.
Yeah, and they need to do this in a hurry because they can't afford to have him not out there. They can't afford not to have some more presence in the middle of the ground. Kane Johnson, the skipper's onto the ground.
Getting smashed in the clearances. Here's Varco. 65 from home. Sends it long to the hot spot. Mooney's doubling back. Bowden the spoil. Campbell! Cam's pumped. So are the Cats. They've got 4 goals in the opening 14 minutes.
Well, they're getting smashed in the contested possessions, Clinton, 13-5. Clearances 8-3, and their ball use. At the moment, the Tigers, everyone Geelong mark the ball, Jared. The Tigers can't even hold them up. Can't even hold them up and slow the play down.
Well, I know it was 3 weeks ago, but we saw Geelong play the best footy I've seen this year. They were fast, they were frenetic, the pressure was awesome. And Carlton aren't mugs. They've proven that. They've played some pretty good football against some reasonable opposition. It's their pace that I think is one of their great assets. And how they could play like they did last week is beyond me. And I think that's why everyone gets frustrated with Geelong.
Big rotation there with Ottens, Mooney and Ling, who have all been a factor in the opening half of this first quarter. Coming off the ground, Bartel and Nathan Ablett. Polak the spoil. Varco with a good tackle.
Good signs there, Spud.
Yeah.
Look, their tackling has been first class here.
It's good.
Hawkins is on for his first run, Clinton, for Mooney.
Good time to bring him in.
Well, it's when you kick a goal, Mooney, you come off. So if Hawkins kicks one, come on the bench, son.
Tuck was third man up. Ablett for Johnson. Welcome back, Steve Johnson. He's waited a while for that. And great spirit from this Geelong team. He served his penance. They've all come towards him. He's been flying in the VFL. And he's putting the Cats off to a flyer here.
Well, just have a look at this clearance, Spud. You pointed the figures. Gary Ablett has been a star of clearances since the day he came into the competition, and he's doing it with ease there. Good balance, good hands, always gives off the first option. That's what I love about him. Well, Johnson converts.
You're right. Chrissy Newman's on Gary Ablett. He wouldn't have had that space. Chrissy Newman would have been smart enough to stand goal side. All of a sudden you've got young McGuan on Ablett, and he just tore him apart.
This is a pasting, folks. How will the Tigers respond? Tuck to Tambler. Trying to slip away. Needs support. Just doesn't happen. It's a wave of blue and white jumpers. There's a good tackle. Moore and Wojcinski. Ball held in.
So they're pinned in.
So the clearances Geelong's way 10-3 as you see the matchups there in the Tiger forward line. Schultz and Scarlett.
Well, it'll be pretty cold at the moment, Jay. The ball's only been in there once.
And it's been inside 50-10 nearly 11 times for the Cats.
Bartel has had a magnificent season, and he's flying again tonight.
He's just crunching bodies and enjoying it as White feeding the hand pass out for the Tigers. The kick comes to Meyer.
He's a big leap too. He hasn't got great pace, but he's got a great spring, which is a little bit unusual.
Getting some hands on the footy now, the Tigers.
Well, it looks as though they're just going to try and slow the tempo down here, Clinton.
And
just deny.
Have they got the foot skills to be able to do that, though, Spud?
No, they haven't.
I mean, this is all about the apprenticeship now for Richmond. I mean, I think we've got to say that Richmond are playing for 2008, 9, 10 and 11 that Terry Wallace talked about.
More short. They're still in the back half.
And there's going to be some pastings along the way. We're not giving this game away, but quite clearly, Geelong are dominating.
Richo forced out of it. Meyer, the gather. Long to the hot spot. Tigers have got numbers. Schultz is going to fly. Went early. Scarlett KO'd by his teammate Dave Johnson. And Johnson wore one.
Johnson's hurt too.
Yep. He crashed into Scarlett. Chapman, meanwhile, plays on. Hits Kelly. Got a lot of space on the City wing.
Too much space.
He could go all the way here. Two bounces. He's got an unguarded goal square. Mackey's going back. Mackey's got the mark. Geelong are going to have 6.
Well,
with 9 minutes to play.
You're right. We see David Johnson on the ground here, Gerard, but Mark Thompson would be wrapped. He had two his key defenders, Scarlett and Johnson, just having a crack at the ball here. Look, I know it's friendly fire, but I tell you what, as a coach, you are wrapped with that. You are just playing unconditional football, and Mackey's got a shot on goal from the resultant effort from Scarlett and Johnson.
Geelong by 37 points after 18 minutes of playing time.
Well, I know you talk about the apprenticeship of the Tigers, Gerard, but seriously, you've got to compete. I think
I agree.
You've just got to play one-on-one football now and forget about scoreboard pressure, etc. You've got a man out there at the moment, Geelong. The uncontested possessions they're slaughtering, so you've just got to make sure, as we see young Johnson come off the ground with the blood rule, that's a great effort. Kelly just pushing the ball to the top of the goal square. That's dangerous football.
Alarm bells, warning sirens, you name it, going off for Terry Wallace and the Tigers as Mackey kicks the Cats 6th.
I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm still here.
Simmons the hit out. Now Johnson. To centre half forward. Richardson charging out. Goes too far underneath it. And the reason why he was pushed.
I think Egan's saying that a Richmond player pushed him in the back, Clinton, and it was a ricochet onto Richardson.
You be the judge.
No, I don't know what he's complaining about.
And Richo's gone short. Knocked away on its way to King. Johnson the handball to Ablett. They can turn defence into attack in a hurry. Rains and Varco on course. Bouncer awkward. Rains has got it. And happy to flare it out wide for Foley.
Smart kick.
Newman has been taped up. Kicks towards full forward. Simmons going back. Milburn the spoil. This is Tenace. Look out, Ablett under the pump.
Good
hands. Great hands for Blake, for Ling. Johnson just punching those handballs out. They've risen as a team. Confidence is soaring for Geelong. Wojcicki's going to run onto this. He can use Varco, or Varco can shepherd. Wojcicki can go himself. Oh, he took a long time. Got it off to Hawkins. He'll feed it back for Chapman. From 50 out for his third. They can't be stopped tonight. This is phenomenal.
Well, Jason is having a big day down there, the goal umpire, Jason Vinakaya.
So is Chapman there. What about Blake? I think the crowd got involved when he kicked the ball, Jared. Normally he's looking for a handball.
I thought what was interesting was it was almost like, stop stuffing around with the footy, you blokes. Will you just do this? Bang, goal. Here it is. They're just mucking around with the ball. Yeah, well, all right, where's another one? All right, I'll show you how it's done. Just get it inside 50 and go bang. And it's all been one way for the goal umpires.
Paul Chapman with 3 already. Had just 3 for the season prior to this as we check in with Lee Colbert.
Plenty happening down on the bench. David Johnson comes off after a clash with Matthew Scarlett, and also young Tambling, he's got a shoulder complaint, a left shoulder, so keep an eye on that one, boys.
Foley charging through. Handball stolen by Wojcicki. Chapman again. His 8th disposal. Ling White. Oh, they're doing it with ease. Milburn out wide. Mackie now stolen by White. Finally, the Tigers get a break.
Got Richo one-on-one.
White from 55 will go himself with a long ball, and hallelujah.
Well done.
Matthew White playing his first game for the season delivers a goal there for the Tigers that they so badly require. And he's going to be yanked as well. No,
he's
you've
going
kicked
to
the goal, son. Stay out there.
Jeez, it was impressive stuff, Spud, from Matthew White.
Magnificent. Just eyes for the ball. It was courageous, Mark, but took the game on, Jared. Fantastic. Took the game on and thought, well, let's have a crack at this. I've taken a good mark. I want to finish it with a goal, and he did that.
Yep, have a look. It was a beauty. And it was just on the big screen.
Well, they trimmed that margin back to 37 points. Simmons the little soccer out wide. Chapman is pushed in the back.
Well, again, he's getting the free kick because he's first to the ball.
Blake doing pretty well in the middle of the ground too. He's just that little bit taller and he's got some athleticism and he's going to grow into that body.
Here's Johnson.
Got a big start, Johnson,
isn't it? And Ottens likewise.
Well, not much McGuan can do on Ottens. Ottens is about, what, 198 centimetres. Luke McGuan about 190.
Good run by Gary Ablett.
Well, that's the issue the Tigers have got now, Jared. Newman came off and then Chapman kicked a couple, so Terry thought, well, I'll put Newman on Chapman.
Yep.
And now I've got a lesser type, all due respect to Jared Oakley-Nichols. He's talking about one of the best half forwards in the competition at the moment in Gary Ablett.
Looking for their 8th goal of this opening quarter. 45 metres out. He's missing to the near side.
Yeah, he just fell off the back of that kick, didn't keep his weight going through and sliced it. And he'll have a look at that video and wonder why.
He's got 5 goals, 9 now for the season. This is his 6th start. Reigns with the footy. He had a personal best 30 touches back in round 4. Goes short here to half-back. Polak with the mark.
Terry's put Reigns back in the back flank. He just looked all at sea in the midfield there, Jared. No accountability. Had to assess the game that Geelong were getting a lot of the ball.
Had to find a spot for the skipper as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he now is limited in where he can play Kane Johnson, and midfield is his best spot, obviously.
Pettifer, unsure. Elects to go wide for Tuck. Wheels around Hawkins and drives Richmond deep to full forward. Jackson's going to fly from behind Ling. Waiting down is King, the first-year Tiger. Ling wrapped up, goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Johnson the tackle.
He only just took possession, it's not holding the ball.
Kieran Nichols is vocal tonight, the man in red.
Well, he knows Kane Johnson doesn't want to say much afterwards.
Giving him the explanation throughout. Pettifer runs it out for another throw-in. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the opening term. There's Varco and Chapman cool their heels after a big start. And now the Cats can clear with Court.
He's a magnet, this bloke. He very really misses out on getting 20 25+ stats.
His handball made Johnson wait. Moore did well, got it to King. 35 out, hurries a kick at goal, and it will squeeze through for a behind. 7-2 to 1-1. Jake King in just his third senior game as Enright prepares to bring it back in. Tigers zoning up for the kick back into play. Now they're going to have 3-on-1 here, so Ling should not get it. Oh, the Tigers collide. It goes down to Johnson, and he handballs it back to Milburn. Now Tenace with some space going short to centre half back for Blake. Big man will hand it off to Bartel. Good option.
Once they create the overlap, she's pretty hard to stop, and generally you win it back if you do it all in the back half.
Here's Ablett. Showing some toe was Nathan. Long to the goal square. Otten's in front. Gary waiting down. Boundary throw-in.
Like that work there from Maguire. He just didn't stay at the back spot. He pushed around and he got into that front position, which being president of the fullbacks union, I'm sure you'd be pretty happy with.
That was a very good effort there from Luke Maguire. Giving away height and weight.
At the back, Johnson. He is dangerous. Lost the handle on it. Rains. Quick hands. Simmons. Now Bowden. His brother again left out of the Tigers side. Joel kicking towards Oakley Nichols. Will have time to recover from that miss. Stalked by Nathan Ablett. Kicks down the line but over the head of Richardson. Frustration for the Tiger Giant as Selwood now for Geelong going back to Milburn. Will they effect the switch? Scarlett might have to go short and does for Enright.
Jared Oakley Nichols is going to give away a free kick in a very dangerous spot if he continues the scragging on Nathan Ablett.
We'll keep an eye on that. Now Scarlett trying to burn off Hughes. Kicking towards Hawkins.
But Mooney 1-on-1 with Bowden.
Goes towards that matchup. Bowden slipped. Mooney didn't. Has he got support? He has. He's got Gary Ablett. And the Cats have got 8.
Well, you've got to tackle the hits. Look, Cameron Mooney did a fantastic job there. If you're going to watch the ball and be a ball watcher when he's got it, you're going to invariably get turned inside out. We see Hawkins here go to Mooney. Mooney picks the ball up, shows the Richmond defender the ball in Calvin Moore. Just got to tackle the hips, focus on the hips. They're the last thing to move on a player. But it was a good play from Mooney.
It was a great play from Mooney. I think, Spud, we're going to just have to enjoy the moment here.
Yep.
Enjoy the skills. We're going to see plenty of them. And Tiger fans, look for the pluses in your youngsters coming through. Because that's what it's all about today. The decision's been made. The switch has been flicked. You're playing for the future. So look for kids to get some experience. It'd be nice to see a few of them with the ball in their hand.
Here's Selwood. Hawkins couldn't hang on, but Varco will mop up. Give it to Gary. Can he get 2 in a minute? Can he get 2 in a minute? You bet he can.
How good is that?
Geelong with a 9-goal opening term for just the second time in 100 seasons worth of meetings against Richmond.
Jared, Gary Ablett, he's not as tall as his dad, but his turn of foot and his lateral movement, look at this.
Yeah, it's good
his
step.
ability to change direction, is just first class. And when you're doing it on a player like such as Chris Newman, you know you've got some skill. Robert Harvey was excellent at it, and we're going to see that a hell of a lot from Gary Ablett.
You know, the one thing that's disappointing about the Tigers is just the pressure. I mean, we know they've got a heap of young kids in, and we know they've made some decisions, but the pressure's just not up to speed at the moment, and that's why the Cats are putting on a clinic.
Compete.
Ottens, Bartel, Ling. High ball, not 15. Ottens tried to grab it. Simmons' handball knocked away. Again, another slip from a Tiger. Bartel with the tackle, a bounce.
No, he went forward.
You're right, you're talking about the future, Jared. Terry and the coaching staff now will be sitting back saying, well, who wants to compete? Who wants to dig deep? Who's going to find something under the pump? Who wants it? Who's going to make their opponent earn their kicks?
And it looks like they've put reins on the Bartel. That, to me, is a really good sign. Go and play on him.
Yep.
Bartel right now will be up there as one of the favourites for the Brownlow. He's a poll voter.
Barco towards Mooney. Ablett kept his footing well. Nathan to Gary.
Good tackle.
From McGuan. Nathan Ablett for Ling. They're queuing up our Geelong. They're queuing up. And Ling says, let me join in. It's a 10-goal opening term. What a quarter this from Geelong. It's their best ever first quarter against the Tigers with still 2 minutes to go.
Well, it's the Gary Hamilton Chapman show at the moment, Jared. His assists, his ability to kick goals, he's kicked 2, Chapman's kicked 3. Whew. Not much they could do there, the Tigers. I thought it was good pressure they put him, but that Gary Hamilton was just too good.
Spoke to David King during the week about Luke McGuan. He just said he loves his competitive nature, his competitive edge. There is David King in the back stalls. They've got plenty to think about, obviously. They can't really just throw players around everywhere. All they can do is appeal to their competitive nature.
Rains wrapped up by Bartel. Well, in the back.
It's probably worth it, actually, because that would have taken a fair bit of the stuffing out of his opponent.
Their ferocious intent at the football, Geelong, is nothing less than we had thought they would provide after another week of close examination at Skilled Stadium. And they've responded magnificently as the Tigers go forward. Otten's knocking it down. Look at that, bodies flying everywhere. And we'll get a bounce 20 out from the Tiger goal.
Well, again, Clinton, we saw that clash. It was 2 Geelong bodies having a crack at the hard ball. I've got no doubt on the coaching whiteboard of Mark Thompson, it was win the ball at all costs. Win the ball, be unconditional at the ball. Don't worry about yourself, just get in there and get the ball.
Not the man.
Of course, the doubters will be all saying, yeah, but they're not beating anybody, etc. Next week, she's early to be talking about next week, but we are. They've got the Eagles.
Well, it's 1 versus 6.
And that match will be on Fox Sports AFL. First half of our Sunday doubleheader next week from Skilled Stadium as Mooney helps this one over and a free kick going to Kelvin Moore for a push.
The reason it's pertinent to say so...
Even Cam's accepting the umpire's decisions.
Yeah, well, there's been big changes this week, Clinton. But this is a group that is, effectively by age, demographic, etc. They are in premiership mode.
Well,
they've
they are.
added some youngsters, but they've got the majority of their players at the height of their powers. And that's why there's been frustration with Geelong, because we see on a regular basis what's possible, but the highs and lows are too far apart, Spud.
Egan shepherded out Richardson. That's a free kick. He called him Chris. His name's Matthew, but regardless, it was a free kick.
Look at him. Watch him.
You're spot on your comment, Jared. If you just have a look at this on the replay here. Yeah, look, the only thing Egan did wrong then, not put his hands in the air. If he had to put his hands in the air, the umpire would have said play on.
Richardson to the top of the square. Hughes, Schultz will be the flyers. Mile, Ottens, well, he maybe knew those cats were there in numbers. And the posse are away. Egan, long ball to the wing in the waning seconds. Oh, what a well-weighted kick. Kelly, they've got 12 seconds. You wouldn't tip against them the way they're going. Nathan Ablett takes off. They've got 8 seconds. 7, he's gone.
Good chase.
Got the hand pass away. And that will end a stunning opening quarter by Geelong.
First mistake of the game there, Nathan Ablett, for the Cats.
What a story has unfolded in just half an hour here at the Dome. 10-2 to 1-1. It is their second best quarter of football ever against Richmond. That is just stunning.
Magic, and I just hope Richmond just respond to Terry Wallace.
Yeah.
It's got to come from senior players.
Have you got any sense of pride in performance? Absolutely.
Because no doubt I reckon they would have seen the Gasper decision and said, we've got not much chance this season. They've got to deal with that in a hurry. Otherwise, this could be a real blowout.
Tigers with Foley after 4 handballs, no kicks in the first quarter. His first kick of the match marked by Milburn. Now Blake. And don't Geelong fans like this man? They've adopted him.
Well, he's making it tough for Stephen King, who heavily fired their reserves yesterday in the VFL. They won by 80-odd points yesterday, and it was almost as if they set the tone. Stephen King had a blinder himself.
And the Cats are virtually at full strength outside of Tom Harley right now. So it's as good as it gets. Now Hyde backs himself. Draws some defence. Has support. Electing to feed it out wide was Foley, and now Hughes. Chipping it to half forward, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to try and chip away at this lead. They've got to say, well, let's get it back to perhaps 35 to 40 points at half-time, 20 points at the last change, and who knows, we can do what we did last year. They kicked 5-2 to 9 behinds in the last quarter at Skilled Stadium in round 9 last year when these two clubs met for a rare victory down at Geelong, their first in 16 years, the Tigers.
Feel free to give us your contribution for the straw poll to the nearest of pin, Clinton, when you're ready.
Okay. Richardson climbing. Cats affect the spoil. This is Hughes. Now, Lydio. Haven't cited him too much. That's his first possession.
Well, let's just see how he goes under the next 30 minutes.
Pettifer, long. Richardson, can he pat it down to Tuck? He can, and Tuck's going to get the kick away, but under pressure, it's out to the right for a behind.
Well, there's no easy positions out there at the moment for the Tigers. Interesting, Richardson's full forward now, Jared, so Terry's obviously thought, well...
No Schultz, they've reverted to Gone.
The experiment's off for a while, we need to get a strong target in there, and that's probably good coaching.
Milburn, out wide, and Kelly worked very hard for him. Happy to wait. Squares it up.
Well, that's the difference. Jared Oakley-Nichols did that in the first quarter, cost them a goal. Jared Kelly did it.
Well, Hyde was busy climbing the mark. The umpire was calling play on. Polak now for Pettifer. Can swing onto the right. Richardson's wanting. He's calling it deep. He'll get a chance now. He's one-on-one from the side. Good spoil by Enright. And now the Cats can clear with Mackie for Bartel. Good support there for Egan. Down in the last line of defence for Geelong, and now the Cats can run on the wing. It's Kelly with Milburn riding shotgun for him. And Milburn receiving. Gee, can run all the way. All the way. Darren Milburn.
Bounce.
Bending it back. Into the post. Has he gone over the line?
Well, he's gone over the line.
It'll be a bounce. Everything they do is falling apart today. Umpire Avon calling there. So a bounce, top the square. Better get back there, fellas.
No Ruckman there at the moment.
Gee.
Where's the Rovers?
And the Tigers, they've hit it straight to Ablett. Nathan, tripping the line. Fantastic. Oh, what's a goal by Nathan Ablett. That's spectacular.
What about the feint handball? That was smoke and mirrors.
Well, you know you're hot.
Yeah.
Simmons knocked the ball down to Ablett. He fumbled it and thought, well, I've had me chance here. Polak actually was third man in. Ablett thought, well, I've got a chance to kick a goal. Fumble, inside out, left foot, goal.
Somebody saw moves on a number 23 like that. It was Jordan for the Chicago Bulls. Look at him move. Breathtaking. 61 points is the lead.
Well, the good thing is that he's set the benchmark. You see Travis Varco's eyes just light up and say, well, there's a challenge being set.
Can you top this? Here's Enright. Driving it towards half forward.
This bloke is just getting better with every breath he takes as a footballer.
Still just 21, Nathan Ablett. This is his 16th senior game of AFL footy, going to the pocket at full stretch. Speaking of getting better, this man certainly will as his career unfolds. Game number 5 for the Tomahawk, Tom Hawkins.
Well, it's a good opportunity for Tom. A couple of quiet weeks after a good start. If they can get some quality ball into him, he can play himself back into some form.
He's kicked 7 goals, 4 for the year. But as you said, a quiet fortnight.
But these are the shots that the really good kicks get more often than not.
Well, you rate him as a kick, don't you?
I reckon he's an outstanding kick. But I've put a lot of pressure on him.
Setting him up for a fall here. He had no hope after that or behind.
It's still a good attempt.
Thanks, Cameron.
11-4 to 1-2. Newman to kick in. Eventually. He'll get the stat himself. Now, several Tigers there and standing tall as McGuire. Well, their foot skills have let them down today, and you combine that with Geelong's attack on the footy and a clean disposal, and that's why a mauling is unfolding as Johnson goes long and it will bounce through. Everything they touch turning to goals. Cam Mooney, despite the goal, still believing they could have had a free as David Johnson, after his first kick for the day, can trot back quite happy.
Well, we see on the replay just Johnson having a crack. Probably going for Mooney a little bit over the top, but Mooney in the end did look for a free. Shepherded the ball. We see here in the goal square.
Free kick.
Yeah, it was a free, but it was a goal, so the umpire said all clear.
This is getting, well, no, it's not getting, it is. It's downright embarrassing for the Richmond Football Club. His policy or not, this is a mauling. They've played for 40 minutes and it's 12 goals to 1.
Play on.
Oh, that's high.
He's become a brick, has James Bartel. He's solid, isn't he?
Yeah. Fair lump of a boy.
King driving it long. Meyer had it knocked away. Here's Scarlett. No one can lay a hand on him. Mackie, Selwood, they'll wrap him up. Who will spark the Tigers? Maybe Rains. 55 out, goes long, and Richo's being held.
He's getting mauled, actually, Clinton.
It's a really smart kick. He put it out into space. He actually made Richo move. And Matthew Egan, he just can't play that way these days.
No.
That was in a bygone era, an era of dinosaur fullbacks like our esteemed colleague
You
here.
might have watched the tape of the 80s, Jared,
When clips behind the ear and elbows were just all part of defence.
so were given.
Richo with a very deliberate run-up for a shot from about 20 out directly in front. Cat supporters tried to distract the Tiger gun goal kicker. It will not be denied that Tigers have their second.
What's the distance?
Plenty of chat there with the umpires, plenty of instruction. And it was just a bit too easy. Varco pushed off the footy. His coach will want a better effort than that next time. And also Matthew Egan, he's just going to have to learn that you just can't give those away, because next week they'll come up against maybe him, Quentin Lynch. And it may cost the goal, cost the game.
So Richo with his first, that's number 702 for his career if you're counting. Only 18 men have kicked 700.
Centre-bounce, Richmond have flipped a couple behind the ball here in Geelong's forward line.
Trying to stem the bleeding. Foley. Handball to Pettifer. The clearance for Richmond. High to half forward. Hughes and Meyer at the back. First grab. Johnson. A creative kick. Effective. Selwood for Tenace. He's quick. Good shepherd by Corey. Tenace towards Mooney.
Good jump from Mooney. Went early, tried to protect the ball.
Ablett did well. Drew the defence. Fed Tenace. Whistle. Hold. And it will be a Geelong free about 20 metres out and another goal coming up, it would appear.
They're holding off the ball here.
He's been scragged for a quarter and a half.
Nathan Ablett, the free.
Free kick's there, I'm going to pay it. He's hanging on to him. Of course it will. Always.
That's Polak with the discussion with Kieran Nichols.
Too quick. It was Oakley Nichols gave away while he was scragging. He didn't get pinged in the first quarter.
Nathan Ablett for his second as the parade continues.
Well, that was great play from Cam Mooney. He jumped early on Bowden. Didn't mark the ball, but when you jump early, your crumbing players and your midfielders know where the ball's going to go. And you saw Gary Ablett here crumb the ball, get the ball down deep, and off the ball there, Polak, just Nathan Ablett. One thing about Nathan Ablett, he leads at the ball carrier, so you've really got to try and read the play. It's probably just a touch too quick for Polak. But mind you, the ball's coming in there a fair bit, so not a lot he could do.
Watching, boys, no holding. Don't hold.
13-4 to 2-2. Ottens and Simmons contesting in the middle, and Gary Ablett having some sort of evening so far with a dozen possessions already. Good fist towards the boundary line, and it's over right near Lee Colbert.
Just an injury update. Schultz looks to have a cork thigh, his right leg, and also Tamling shoulder and knee. Also Paul Chapman still struggling, but I'm running out of columns in my record here for the amount of goals being kicked, boys.
They are on fire early, this Cat side for sure. Bartel in the path of Ablett. He's got that look about him today.
Has he?
Yeah.
Ottens, 55 out. Long to the hot spot. Mooney's at the back. He tried to get rid of Bowden, who marked it very well.
Kick really did an advantage. Geelong going in.
Foley with a little pirouette.
Jeez, got back quickly there, Geelong. It's good signs.
Good pressure.
to midfield, and man in front is Enright.
Well, it's just the pressure on the ball, the Richmond defenders. Geelong forwards are really chasing hard.
Scarlett with the long ball to the 50. Bartel gets rid of Newman, takes the footy, gives the handball to Mackie. Can he snap another one? Long to the goal line. It's got there.
Genius, Bartel.
Andrew Mackie with the finish. Geelong's lead is out to 74 points.
You're right, Jared. Bartel's form this year has been sensational. At the Crossroads about 18 months ago, and
he's got himself rock hard fit, Spud.
He certainly has, and he's just running hard. It's great to see because he would have been wondering whether I'm in their best 18.
Yes, he was. When there's suggestions he was going to be cleared a couple of years ago. That's a great finish too, also by Mackie, who's actually finding a new role for himself, and he's doing well. It's going to be a long day for all Tiger supporters.
Yeah,
free kick in the middle.
And Croaked in that circle. Cats.
And the indication was just kick it long. Get some crumbs.
Oh, the bounce just eluded Hawkins. He thought he had a chance. And an open goal beckon. Now Bowden goes to Rains. Out wide to half-back. This is Tuck. His 5th disposal. Wide, effective, Jackson.
What's the record AFL score, Quinton? 35
Wolsey has it. Doesn't he hold it for the kicked against him?
Yeah, it was Geelong. Up in Brisbane.
Against the
Brisbane Lions, yeah.
Brisbane Bears, I think, in those days.
Do you want a tackle then at this point, Jared?
Well, 14-4 with half of the second quarter to go.
37-17, 2:39 the Cats against Brisbane that day. Sorry, Robert, I know you'll be watching. Robert Walls watches our Sunday night game. He just wouldn't want to hear his name. Actually, he could be very excited, couldn't he? With
he could be.
Record potentially being struck out. Ablett.
He's got his own ball tonight. Go Ablett.
15 possessions. Scarlett. Loose men to pick from, a bevy of them. Tenace goes to midfield. Leaping effort from Pettifer. Bounce eluded him. Johnson was tackled. Dido Foley will get a bounce.
Thanks, boys.
Just getting back onto Bartel, Jared, it's a great lesson for everyone playing league footy. There's no recipe other than hard work and just go to the next level in your running, especially playing in the midfield. And you know better than most, just that running motor over 4 or 5 pre-seasons can really improve your tank.
With a guy like Bartel, he's got no real speed to get him out of trouble. He's got a great brain, and that's why he's a good player. He's fast enough, but he's got to have unbelievable endurance.
Johnson.
What's this leap?
Oh, great courage.
Bartel to end up at Tiger behind to Cleve Hughes.
Yeah, we called him in, Jared. We're talking about Jimmy. That is just absolutely sensational from Abbott. Maybe a little bit too courageous.
Well, Bartel put his ribs on the line there.
Oh,
Did he what? Oh, and there's a leap from Joel Bowden.
good grab. 2 good marks from Joel Bowden. Well, no doubt the highlights package for Mark Thompson tomorrow, Clinton, will be that effort there. First from Johnson in the first quarter, then from Bartel, sorry.
The videotape editor will have a hard time narrowing down the highlights tape. There's so much so far.
Oh, there's one for
Richardson.
Yeah, that was magnificent running from Richo. He ran up the field, then he doubled back. Started from Bowden with 2 good marks there.
No teammates to give him the footy, so Richo has got to go and get it himself. As we have a look back at this effort, Bartel from the side.
Oh, that is magnificent. It takes a lot of courage. No, you've got 2 guys over 100 kilos bearing down on you.
And the glove worked to perfection there from Richo. Righto, Spud, talking through this one.
Well, it's not his right side, Jared. He has to come out a little bit, which he did. I prefer him on this side of the ground. Wheel in on his right. He always get right to left. Very hard kick from Matty from that pocket there.
Glum look for the Tiger fans here at the Dome. And not a bad attendance either for Sunday night football as Milburn haven't reached the halfway point of the second quarter, and it's 88-15. And Ablett's had it 17 times.
Great lead coming up here from Nathan Ablett. He's pushed up about 80 metres.
He's a chance.
Oh, well done, Pollack.
Really good work from Pollack as well.
No, that was good play.
5 marks now.
Showed a bit of speed there, Spud.
No, he did. That was fantastic. I thought Ablett would have got off him, but to Pollack's credit.
And paid that way. Tuck, long, inside the 50. Cats waiting down. Johnson after a collision with his teammate Jackson. The pressure, ball held in, a bounce.
I was talking to Michael Avon just before the game, Clinton, on the back of what we thought might have been an overcooking of a 50-metre penalty, and he was saying they used obviously the arcs. The 50-metre square is 50, but the biggest indicator is that each one of the cuts on the surface, on the grass, is 10 metres.
Helps them. Foley for Johnson, back for Foley. Richo on the left now, on the run, across the face, in the square. Tiger's a big show. Hughes, can he redeem himself? Got it to Pettifer, and the goalkeeper there was Milburn.
Good chase there from Mackie, good pressure. They got Mackie playing quite well. Tenace has got enough other opportunity, and they're such key players if they're going to compete at the very top end. They just need the electrifying pace, taking the ball from one end of the ground, and in particular putting pressure on from behind.
Good movement this. Otten's deep to the forward line. McGuan under pressure. Ablett chasing him. Mooney, Hawkins. Gee, you wouldn't want to be wrapped up by those two. We're going to bounce Geelong deep in attack.
It was a good play there from McGuan. Good second effort, just at ground level.
And they've been dangerous here. They're winning the clearances on a 3-2 count. Otten's in the path of Johnson. Oh, close to being in the back. We'll get a bounce.
He hasn't got it. No, he hasn't got it in the end.
Well, there's Duncan Callaway there, Jared. I think the Tigers would desperately love his hardness. He's a Geelong runner now, Duncan Callaway.
Controversially, no, it wasn't Duncan, it was Andrew, of course, last start of the season. And was dropped off the list.
The whole time, and you're corralling him backwards.
Free kick for Johnson.
Take it out.
Kicked a goal in the first quarter. Kicked 30 goals last year from his 15 matches. And then much talked about suspension by the club.
Get there, hang on.
Over this summer. Floater. But good enough. It was a horrible kick, and he knows it. Look at that grin. Good to be back, huh? He's got his second goal. They've got 15, and we haven't reached the time on period of the second term. The missed kicks are dropping in.
Have a look at his body shape, Jared. Steve Johnson's. We watch him kick the ball. There's no doubt he's got a little bit fitter, and probably could get fitter again, but
a lot fitter.
He's dropped 5 kilograms since the summer.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you put the work in, the mongrels go through. Yeah. Things fall for you. And he'd be only just starting to break down some of the barriers with fitness.
This is a remarkable tale unfolding as Tuck's pushed in the back. And how quickly things can turn. Geelong on their way to a spot in the top 8 after 6 rounds. They'll be 6th on the ladder. And all the talk about doom and gloom and the coach and his position in jeopardy. We'll look at them play here. Yes! The drive towards Nathan Ablett on the lead. Bounced off his chest. Selwyn with a tackle on Polak. They are alive.
Knock it out! Knock it out!
And will it come out? It does. Rains. Towards midfield. Watch the bounce. Well trapped by Meyer. Has support from Hyde. Now they can look to go. Meyer down the line. Leading player is Hughes. Tough task for that young man against Matthew Scarlett, a former All-Australian fullback.
Well, you've got to use the ball a little bit better than that, especially on Scarlett. Put anywhere above Cleve Hughes' reach, and Scarlett will be all over that.
Foley forcing it to full forward. There's a hold.
You got hold of him.
Hughes the free.
You had hold of him early on, Matthew. Matthew, you had hold of him early on, mate. No. He did at the end.
Let's have a look. There he is. Half a hold.
Yeah, no, they'll always play that. There's probably no need for Matty to hold Hughes, especially his development. We see his skinny arms, his skinny frame. Just got to play off him a little bit, and you're always going to push him under the ball. So
at the end, he did, yes. Stay out there.
Close to Matthew Scarlett's longest on microphone discussion.
20 gone.
Not a man that talks to the press much.
So this knocked you back for a few interviews, huh?
No, he just doesn't speak much. Hughes has now squandered 2 golden chances in the second quarter.
Spoke, can I just ask you to compare? I didn't see the match live. Heard that the Tigers were very competitive. Saw a quarter and a half. Richmond v Eagles last week. Compare the intensity of the Tigers today, because are we letting the Tigers off the hook too much on the basis of one action?
I think we are, Jared, because last week, if you rate their intensity and hardness out of 10, I'd rate it 9.5.
Yep.
Tonight, 1.5. Yeah. So that's not good enough.
And why does that happen, Danny? That's the question.
Well, maybe they're just reading too much into the Gasper scenario. You've just got to play the game as an individual. Maybe the senior players are saying, well, gee, Gasper's gone, maybe our season's gone. You've got to compete. When you walk over the white line, you wear a jumper, you've got to compete the hardest you can for your club. More importantly, for yourself.
It's an ace to full forward. Chapman. Oh, no one can lay a hand on him tonight. It is too easy. They've brought up the century before half-time.
That's exactly what we're talking about, Jared. That is far too easy. Missed tackles hurt you all over the ground, but not in the forward line. You see the ball, I know it's getting pumped in, and you can't give it out, because have a look at the Richmond players around. That is not good enough. You tackle with your torso. You use your arms and your fingernails as a secondary act. You don't reach for the tackle. You tackle the hips and you dump in. I think Terry Wallace needs to show that particular instance there to say that's the difference between our game this week compared to Eagles 7 days ago.
Yeah, the intent wasn't there. It all starts from what's between the ears, I suppose. Then the technique follows, but we've seen 3 people walk through half a dozen Tigers, 3 or 4 Tigers, as if there's a smoke and mirrors act going on out there. And
Chapman has kicked 4 goals now as Blake, the set-up man now, driving long to the pocket on the bounce of the ball going to Chapman. He's tied up, no chance of bounce.
Well, that's better.
Guys, let it go. My foot, it's my ball.
If he had to slip through that one, Jared, I think Terry would have jumped out of the coach's box.
Don't block.
Still a long way to go before the siren for half-time.
Play on, knock it out.
They're hailing the cab, the Cats.
No, my footy, try to knock it out.
Michael Avon with the description.
Thanks, boys.
16-4 to 2-5.
Thanks, guys, keep it tidy. Don't hold.
Danny,
hold. That's good, well done.
do you bake under this circumstance, modern day coaching, or do you just talk about it, show it, and expect a result?
No, I think you do in this instance, Jared. This is not good enough. Yeah, this is un-AFL-like, this performance by the Tigers, and there's no doubt they need to be given a short back and sides at half-time.
Blake the hit out, a scramble. Chapman handball, Gary Ablett for another.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
A lot of blokes sitting around with hands on hips.
Oh, look.
Finger pointing.
Ablett has got 3. The lead is 89 points.
And the first thing I'll be doing as a coach is talking about the body language. Boys, forget about what's happened in the past. The first half has been embarrassing. It's been terrible. You show those couple of instances there. Paul Chapman's the only one with his head over the ball. Everyone's trying to reach for the ground ball. Here's we see Chapman. Look at this. Head over the ball. Everyone's second guessing. Bang, clean, crisp skills. Talk about body language. Get some little wins. Beat your opponent.
Would you individualise?
No, there's no doubt. There's guys out there just waiting for something to happen. You've got to take it upon yourself. Clean up your own backyard first. Grab a man, beat him to the ball, and at least get some tackling pressure on the opposition.
And for our digital subscribers, stay with us during halftime. You can have a look at the Tiger Room. We'll keep a camera on the Tiger Room throughout the halftime break for our Fox Sports AFL active subscribers. Press red to go active every Sunday night. Free kick going Geelong's way for in the back.
He's 50.
Yeah, so they'll be setting up the position again here. 5:46 from half-time. They've got 17 already. The man on the mark here will be spotted at about 49. The man with the football is David Johnson.
Just about go all the way, David Johnson.
Right there, Jack.
Will he give it a crack? He's already kicked 1 this term.
There's all bar 3 Tigers in the defence, so he might as well have a ping.
And he gives it a go. It's long. Is it straight? It's not. Lee Colbert at ground level.
Yeah, you talked about the Tigers, not showing any intensity, but down here it's a bit of a farce, really. They're miles off their men, and it is frustrating for supporters too.
Britt Deledio is at a very quiet game. We see here he's been moved to full forward, Jared, on Scarlett, so only the one possession for Brett. And this will be a learning curve for him as well. He just needs to work through it.
Grave days indeed for the Tigers.
Well, they're running at about it's 117 to 178 possessions. That place is playing a blinder. He usually plays well, Gary Ablett, when they're struggling, but I think this was a club that just needed to make a statement, and he's making a personal one.
And the brothers hook up. Nathan swings onto the left. That would be a statement, but he's missed it. Probably didn't have to boldly play on like that. But everything's running their way. Look at that chase. Ablett running down the 19-year-old.
It's probably the first handball I've seen him miss. He's generally a first possession giver. Joel Selwood ran past. Probably should have been on the end of a handball.
A 91-point lead for the Cats. Now high. A rare foray inside 50 for the Tigers. Comes to nothing as Milburn marks. Scarlett with a switch on to Ling on the outer side. Now he's got Kelly wide. He goes to him. Kelly will mark. Good disposal from Ling. Mooney's presenting. He's on the end of this kick. Great fluid transfer from defence to attack for the Cats, but Mooney's got to wait now.
Black and yellow witches' hats. There's nothing more that can be said.
Mackey running onto a free kick for a hole. It's going to be an Andrew Mackey free kick.
Well, they've been consistent, especially up the other end, so you just unfortunately cannot hold him or put your hands in a marking position there.
Feels like you want to take talk back at half-time, Jared, from the Tiger fans.
I think they'll have plenty of time to express their thoughts.
Well, there's a height factor there. Rains on Mackey, and we just see Rains there hanging onto his right arm.
Andrew Mackey lining up for his third. The onslaught continues. It's 114 to 17. It's staggering. It's
world record pace.
It is world record pace.
I mean, Robert Walls is right now sitting down thinking maybe this nightmare may finish tonight.
He's got on his side the bottle of the 4 walls, his best 4 walls wine that he's got, and he's ready to open it. He's ready to uncork it.
On the other hand, the Richmond coaching staff, he's got to get the woe is me's out of the Richmond boys. Their body language is very ordinary. There's another half of football to play.
18-6 plays 2-5. It's been an 8-goal second quarter. And he's very slow to get up, is Black. Good news is he has gained his breath. Now, Richardson.
That's a good move. They've stuck Richo in the middle. Lift, Richo. Kick a goal.
From 55 out, he unloads. And misses to the near side. Richo with 1-1 and 1 out of bounds.
Well, one thing you'll get from him, you'll get a guy that will bust his gut, and I think that's not such a bad move, Jared. Put him in the middle.
He'll have something spot.
Yeah, he'll have a crack.
When it was school, you'd say backs play forward and forwards play back.
Working it just with too much ease. Now Johnson boldly plays on, and it's out of bounds. Well, there's a wrestle in the middle of the ground. Maybe this is exactly what the Tigers need. Now it's just breaking up.
Well, I need something, Clinton, but Stevie Johnson, first quarter, he looked in when he was on the boundary line. At that time, he thought, well, it's party time. You've just got to do the basics over and over again.
And that's a good point, because percentage-wise, Geelong can go each of 2 ways here. If it ends up a 13-game, Bomber's going to be really disappointed, as he was against Carlton. Remember, they led by 100 points against Carlton. Blues kicked the last 4 goals of the game and finished at 78, and he was disappointed. Or they can go on with this. A 150-point win today will set up their season by way of percentage for the rest of the year.
Spud's nailed it. If they play for each other like they have in the first half, they'll break this record. They will have the world record. If they don't, if they end up trying to kick a dozen goals each themselves and stop working, they'll fall well short.
You're right. Mark Thompson's got a challenge also.
Yes.
Team football, team goals. Let's see how many team goals we can kick.
Coming up on 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half, a half where it's been as lopsided as any in the history of this game. Look at this. It's showtime for the Cats. Wojcinski bombs it long. Mooney's going to fly. Mackie waits down. He wants his fourth. Will Ling give it to him? He does. He's thrown out of it illegally, and Mackie can line up goal number 4.
Well, it was good. Ling wanted to kick a team goal. Oh, it's on here.
Hello. Rains is in there.
Something had to happen for the Tigers.
Well, at last, some spark.
Good on you, Rainsy.
Don't do it again. Kane, Pettifer, get out. Go kick, have a kick. Rotate the kick.
Finally, some resistance.
Please back here.
Mackie was caught high by King and tossed out of there.
Unfortunately, the best form of resistance is win the hard ball in our game.
And they're being beaten in that category. So Mackie to extend the lead beyond 100 points. And he has. Wow. 120 to 18, and we're not yet at halftime.
Just trying to make a point. Just going back to where this all started. Really enjoying the work of Darren Milburn this season. He's having a fantastic year.
Yep.
And his body language and his understanding and the interaction with Wojcinski and Enright. We saw them put on a bit of a show there before as the boys do a little bit of huff and puff. But it was just great to see. And Darren Milburn is having one of his finest years.
Also, Gary Ablett having the 19 possessions. I think people have been a little bit critical of Gary. He does a lot of work, but he doesn't get the 25, 30 possession game.
Yeah.
He's well on target for 35 here today.
2 minutes to go. Foley breaks away for the Tigers. Thumps it long from 60 all the way back, and it's very well read. It's good ground coverage from Mackie. Now Milburn. Short ball to the defensive 50 for Johnson.
Their run's been terrific, Geelong. This ability to break the space here, they're just getting on the front foot with their hard gut running.
Enright. Selwood. Good use of the football. The future of Geelong right there. Selwood with 5 games under his belt to Hawkins with now 5 games under his belt. And the Tomahawk is within range.
Well, impossible to defend that kick. That was just lace-out football here, as we see in the replay. Just put the ball to space. Nothing McGuant could do, especially the big frame of Hawkins.
Well, their first quarter return of 10 goals 2 was their best ever against the Tigers. If he kicks this goal, it'll be their best ever second quarter against the Tigers. It's not. It won't be a score yet. At the back, Johnson couldn't grasp it. They'll have 58 seconds. Tiger supporters in stunned disbelief in this stadium. Look at that man. Just wondering what the heck has happened. Do I go home now and we'll stick with it? Oh, Varco just dances away. Just dancing away. Celebrate, Travis. This is an awesome night. Well, what more could you possibly say?
It's like cutting through butter at the moment, Jared. The Richmond defence.
As good as it is on the Geelong side, it's pitiful on the Tiger side.
So it's now their best ever second quarter against Richmond, following their best ever first quarter. Back-to-back 10-goal terms.
Good take.
The amount of goals Geelong have kicked, 10 metres out of goal, from these situations,
stoppages,
has just been unbelievable.
It's a statistician's delight. Graham Bond, Kevin Taylor, etc. They'll be loving this.
That's right. That's right.
20 goals, 6 to 2-6.
Good evening to Robert Walls.
He's reaching for the opener. Foley for Newman. Away. Loops the hand pass over the top for Tuck. Now Foley. Tigers with 1 goal in the first, 1 goal in the second. And Richardson, well, at least he's had a crack this term.
He certainly has, Clinton. And young Blake wouldn't want to see this situation again, because you've just got to do the basics. When you're playing on a player such as Richardson in the ruck, you've just got to spoil the ball. You've got to play to your strengths, and his strengths is tapping the ball. But you see here, Blake going for the mark, caught behind. He'll learn from that as he shakes his head standing on the mark.
Richo with his 4th shot at goal for this second quarter. It'll happen after the siren. You're backing him in, Danny?
I'll back him in from here, Clinton.
Would you like to speak next?
No, I've got nothing much to say.
What are you expecting, Spud, at half-time?
Well, I don't think the Richmond supporters will be too happy. We need to get Colby down there just to
I think that's
sense
understatement
something.
of the year. Yeah, maybe Colby should interview them.
Well, no, not really, but I think the Richmond supporters would be miffed. They'll be a little bit stunned. You know, it's all about the future, and it's all right to stick together walking off the ground, but Terry Wallace wants these boys to compete, because at the moment they're just not competing.
That is one of the grimmest halves of football the Richmond Football Club have ever produced. They trail by 107 points. It's 20-6 to 2-7. The highest score in AFL history. Geelong against Brisbane at Carrara, round 7 of 92 was 37-17. They're more than halfway there, leading by 107 points.
And it's hard to see that they won't get the record. Terry Wallace has got to calmly address what has been a pathetic half by the Tigers. And Geelong, well, they can look forward to next week, because that's when they'll be assessed.
Lots to talk about. Stay with us. Cats in complete control.
He's wounded, and so is Paul Chapman. He looks like he's gone for the day with a hammy.
Thanks, Lee. Second half is underway. Corey looping the handball over the top to Kelly, driving it towards Hawkins. Oh my goodness. They start exactly as they finished the first half. And the scuttlebutt in the radio press boxes have the bookmakers tabbing it at 130 points. The split right now if you want to get on at half time.
More importantly, Clinton, the margin again. For those people who have just joined us, there is a world record attempt being undertaken here at the Telstra Dome. Give us the details.
Highest score in the game's history. 37-17, 239. Geelong against Robert Wall's Brisbane at Carrara, round 792. Hawkins to kick a goal in the opening 30 seconds of the third quarter.
Well, it's a great start. If they're going to have a crack at the record, you just got to continually kick quick goals. And young Tommy Hawkins thought, here's a chance, but he's been terrific, Blake.
Yep.
His ruck work in the middle has been sensational. Have a look at the kick from Kelly. That's where you want it as a leading forward. Just put the ball out in front. Probably could have taken the ball out in his hands, Jared, with young Hawkins here. Not going to always get that easy opportunity, but what a great start here for the Cats.
So Hawkins with his first. For those that were with us for our halftime interview, should mention Caro's only 46. 132 to 19. She is a Tiger supporter though. Ling.
Well, she'd be entitled to be frustrated right now. I can imagine that she'll have plenty to say.
Bashing the keyboard as Corey takes the mark, attacking side of the wing.
Thanks, Kane.
Right now, a Richmond player is yet to touch the football in the second half.
The kick is inside 50. At the back, Mooney couldn't get it. Joel Bowden does. Look out. Tucker's caught. Did well. Got it to Moore, to Bowden. Richardson has it knocked away. Swooping is Johnson. Got by one. Tigers there in numbers. Well done.
Better signs, Tigers. There's 4 tackles.
Foley. Down the middle is Hughes.
Stay out, go round.
They just have to respond. Show some character. It surely could not get worse. 113 points. The margin right now. Geelong about to go to 3-3 by way of wins and losses, and that's a good spoil from Blake. And Mark Thompson will be hamstrung to a degree. No Egan, no Chapman for the second half as the Tigers work it inside 50. Hughes missed 2 shots at goal in the second quarter. He bounces through a goal here early in the third.
Well, it's a better start than the Tigers. We see Geelong kick one. Brett Deledio coming off the ground again. He's only had the one possession. Not sure whether he's injured down there with Lee Colbert, but that's interesting how Deledio comes off. But
and he's straight on the phone, Danny.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. I'm not sure whether it's a defensive mechanism to come off the ground, but yeah, promising goal there from Cleve Hughes as we see Deledio there on the phone to Terry.
It's remarkable, his numbers. 1 handball for Brett Deledio in his 49th AFL game, the former #1 draft pick.
Yeah, I think he must have let the coach down in some particular aspect. And Terry wasn't going to wait till 3/4 time to tell him, because he's a major factor, major part of what he's about at the moment. That's rebuilding this club.
Good explosive couple of steps there from Johnson to get in front of Moore. The kick was
Great
true,
lead.
and ditto for Hawkins.
That's 50.
Yeah, it should be 50 too.
I think they're going to be lenient on McGuan.
I saw him put his hands on it, couldn't see a push.
Kieran Nichols providing the description. Hawkins for his second in this third quarter.
Well, it's a good strong lead up the middle of the ground, and when you jump early, when you're 6'6", there's nothing McGuan could do with that pass from Johnson.
After a quiet fortnight, this situation perfect for Tom Hawkins. Going to get a lot of game time in the second half. One of those nothing to lose scenarios. But after being goalless in the first half, a chance here for 2 in a hurry to open the third quarter, and he delivers.
Along with you, Jerry, he's a magnificent kick. Reminds me, Brad Otten's on song, just low technique, just 4 or 5 steps, head over the ball and follows through with those big, powerful thighs. We see him take that mark, jumping early. That's what you want from your key forwards. Jump early, take the defender out of the situation, and they're a good set of hands. Good to see him take it out in front this time.
Yep. Yeah, I think the only way he's going to get into trouble if he just lets those shoulders rotate when he kicks the ball, which he's done a couple of times I've seen in the recent weeks. But that was everything, just kept going through the line of the ball, and he got the result.
Richardson rucking now for the Tigers. Johnson grubbering the kick forward. Patting it on nicely was Mackie to Ling. High inside the 50 and well read by Moore. Doubling back. Bowden trying to feed Newman. Kelly, good spoil.
Great second effort.
Good chase on there behind play by Blake, because Richo's rucking and then charging forward, and Blake's going with him, which is a good challenge for him.
Foley, 2 bounces. Steadies himself. Kicks for Richardson. Foley, the Tigers' leading ball winner with 17 possessions. Pettifer has had 15, Bowden 15.
I've got to say, it's the quietest I've heard a Tigers crowd in this scenario, Danny. I know you copped a fair bake off them at various stages, but this is just unusually quiet.
I think they're a little bit stunned, Jerry, a little bit miffed. Probably a bit unsure where they're at.
I don't know whether there's a lot of people still outside in the food queues, but there's many that have not come back from the half. Richardson getting it down for Oakley Nichols. Chasing it out wide, Moore and Bartell. Oh, brilliance from Bartell. Running with Johnson. He can take off here.
He can go all the way.
He could go all the way. He's had 2, 3.
And another one.
4. Steadies. Fires. Misses.
It was too easy in the end. Too easy for him. Can you see Bartell out of that pack situation, Jared? How did he get that sort of space?
Oh, look at this one. This is horrible.
It is horrible. And Varco waltzes in for his 3rd and his team's 23rd.
Well, that's a deflating kick when you full back, kicks to the man on the mark, and you see Joel just... Well, look, what can you say, really? That is super deflating. Not much you can say other than just do the basics, Joel. Well, see Terry with a wry grin on his face. He probably feels the same as us. There's not much Terry can do at the moment as a coach.
A Logie for best performance in a comedy right there. The way the night is unfolding for the Tigers. A calamitous night. Otten's the hit out. Tuck sharks it high to half forward. Johnson and Hyde eyes for the football. Johnson bounces into his teammate. Just with so much intensity tonight, the Cats. Ling for Kelly. Enright in support. And for one of the few times tonight, they've gone backwards. Tenace down the middle. Target was Otten's. It's intercepted by Hughes, and the mark is paid. 145 to 25. Highest score the Tigers have ever conceded in a match was against Geelong back in '89, 32 goals, 19, 211. Enright for Tenace, caught by White, now Selwood. And that's in the back. Milburn the free.
Just a little bit sloppy there, a couple of possessions by the Cats.
Otten's in front.
Too good.
Missing for a fortnight with a hip injury. Good game for Brad Ottens to return ahead of a big assignment next week against Dean Cox and Mark Seaby of the Eagles. Enright is running. He goes long to a one-on-one. It's Mooney and Bowden. And can Mooney, when his hands down, will get 50. Another goal coming up for Geelong.
Well, there's one thing getting beat, boys, but the undisciplined act of that, I know it's frustrating for Joel after his last kick, but you've got to have composure, especially your leaders. You need to have composure. Nothing's working for the Tigers, but the last thing you need is undisciplined acts like this.
You rammed his head into the ground almost. Call out. It was almost there, Joel.
And that's the easiest goal Cam Mooney will ever kick. Joel Bowden constantly saying it's soft.
It's another free kick, so it's a 50-metre.
Not there, mate. 24-7 to 3-7.
It was good body work actually by the big bloke. He just pushed back and he got Joel Bowden, who's undersized as a fullback anyway, away from the footy, then stretched the hands, and there's the 50.
And no doubting from up here.
That was a pleasing thing down the other end, Jared, was Kane Tenace going back with the flight of the ball.
Yeah.
Probably not a strong suit of his game. I think he'd be wrapped with that, and Mark Thompson as well.
Wasn't it good to see Clinton charge down to his car to get his record books? He was excited.
Just for you.
I've never seen him run quicker, Jared. It was
He was excited.
I'm making the lather
Not
of
as
sweat.
excited as Robert Walsh, by the way, but he was excited.
Well, we see Deledio come back on the ground. Be interesting to see his role, Brett Deledio, because he only lasted 30
What would you do with
seconds.
this, bud?
I'd put him on James Bartel and say, see if you can out-possess him, but at least play two-way football on him.
Well, the Cats are playing like men possessed. Wojcinski leading in the race for it, takes it out. Right near Lee Colbert. Have you seen the opening 10 minutes of this third quarter, Lee?
Geelong, boys. I just saw Wojcinski. You notice that AstroTurf on the side of the ground. Wojcinski actually just skid on it, and it is very dangerous.
Any talk at all down there from the Tigers?
No, not a hell of a lot, mate, at the moment. They're just trying to stop the bleeding, and the boys on the bench look pretty flat too.
Polak's kick inside the 50, well read by Milburn, who gets rid of Richardson. Feeds Enright. Ablett presents in the middle of the ground. The kick goes over his head, and the only Tiger there was King, who takes it well and goes to Hughes.
Well, one of few errors from the Geelong defenders. Just had too much weight on the ball there. The kick was on, but just was on to Gary Ablett. We see there just in the camera, but had too much carry on the ball.
So Cleve Hughes, 1 goal, 2 tonight, kicked 3 last week in his first game for the season, played in 3 matches last year after being an All-Australian centre-half forward at the under-18 level in 2005 at the National Championships.
Well, the guns will kick it from this distance.
He's a gunman.
It's a good kick.
He's going to be a gun.
Hughes with his second.
Yeah, look, he hasn't been the worst player for the Tigers, Jared.
No,
seven marks, 12 disposals, 2 goals, 2.
I mean, you play with Stuart Lowe, but you need a frame at centre-half forward. And if you haven't got one as a coach, it's pretty tough.
It certainly is.
He's 2 years away from having a physical impact, but he can go a long way in the space of 12 months. But you've got to be able to kick the footy and kick it truly from around the 50 mark.
You're right, Jared. He's 6'4". He's built like a drink of water at the moment, but he just needs 2 big pre-seasons in the gym.
Here we go, fellas. Don't hold.
Tigers with 4.
Just see Deledio on the wing here running. He's got Cameron Ling tagging, so he's just going to have to work super hard here, Brett Deledio.
Ablett away, down the middle, straight onto the chest, and it's a big one at that of Tom Hawkins.
Well, again, Jared, you're right. He should have taken the ball out in front. Now, I know it's happening for him, but you don't always get that opportunity, especially on the gun defenders, and he'll have a very good defender on him next week. All respect to Luke, he's just learned the game. He's going to have Glass. You wouldn't want to be marking the ball on Darren Glass in the Eagles like that.
Great kick from Gary Ablett again, though.
And the applause for Ablett as he comes off the ground with Blake going on.
He goes straight to the medical room. He's got football poisoning.
So Hawkins now to kick his 3rd for the quarter. This is a good return. 3 goals in 13 minutes. The Cats have kicked 5 goals already in this term. Then they're out to 25-7, 157. So the record is now 82 points away.
Well, have a look at this. Straight down the throat of the full forward, inexperienced fullback. And I reckon there'll be some discussion as to the impact of Darren Gasper being dropped on this result. But how have you seen that element of it?
Well, no, Gasper would play a fairly serviceable game. He'd give his all, and look, he's not there, so it's pointless talking about it, but he'd be a little bit disappointed watching this game, I would have thought.
This is Geelong to a T tonight. Their losses are treated with dire warnings of the future, and their wins are hailed as they're all conquering heroes. And that trend will continue here.
Hawkins up the middle again. No.
And it's impossible not to like them when they're in this rare vein of form. Mooney's going to run onto this. Can he? Hawkins is. Well, he can't get his 4th goal for the quarter, so he'll just give it on to Nathan Ablett.
That was polished.
That was magnificent on the left.
All he had to do was evade 2 witches' hats and he got it.
Well, the thing about Tom Hawkins, he actually meant it.
He did.
And that was a very good kick. But again, through the middle of the ground, you see Hawkins here just sell the candy there to young Luke McGuire, and that's a great centering kick. The team goal. That's what Mark Thompson wants.
Nathan Ablett for goal number 3. So let's go through it. Mackie with 4, Varco 3, Nathan Ablett 3, Hawkins 3, Gary Ablett 3, and Chapman on the bench injured with 4.
Well, if you're playing up the forward line, Clinton, and you haven't kicked a goal into the long forward line, you are in trouble to hold your spot.
Oh, dear.
Look, just do not underestimate how good a kick that was.
Yeah.
That was a great kick. With a capital G.
And look, Geelong are going to win this centre bounce because, all due respect to Graham Pollack, he isn't a ruckman, and you watch Mark Blake just get over the top here. So there's only 2 Geelong midfielders in there. Oh no, there's 3.
If the siren sounded now, it would be the 9th highest 3-quarter time score ever. And there's
Here's Delineo on fire.
Well, he's been revved up. He's away. His 2nd handball for the match. His 3rd handball for the match. And that one's ineffective because these cats have just swamped them.
Oh, look at this
With
turnover.
ferociousness.
She's on out the back too, and Scarlett's going to sort it out.
The wrestle continues as Kelly kicks to Watkins. Great transfer. The wrestle breaks at the other end of the ground.
Yeah, 50
And it's
metres.
50 as well. Another goal coming up.
Well, was a little bit late. He was in the action there, young Luke McGuire, in his defence. We'll have to have a look at it on the replay just to see whether the 50 was validated. Bowden was definitely there. But again, the ball usage Geelong going forward, just lace out football at its best.
Brad Ottens becomes Geelong's 11th goal kicker. And the last thing they need is for a star to be hurt.
Well, again, the goal was scored, Jared, from a tackle. Great tackling from Geelong, and it's just magnificent. Tackle creates turnovers, which in effect turn into an easy possession for a forward.
Love that kick from Kelly.
What's to this
Oh,
quarter?
it's absolutely
Here's the
sensational.
wrestle, by the way.
Yeah, a bit of nonsense down the back end, but it is fantastic that Geelong are playing the West Coast next week. That's what I think is. It's just the story will be.
Ow.
Oh, Deleteo's finger there.
Ow.
Has it penetrated the skin? It looks like it has. It's a nasty one.
Yeah.
But this is a 2-week story for Geelong. There's tonight, and then there is the true indicator next week.
Well, there will be the hysteria in Geelong following this performance.
Another great chase from Geelong.
Well, it was declared after they beat Carlton by 13 goals as the best Victorian team in the competition.
Well, I still think they may well be, Clinton. In fact, I think they're the only side we've got a chance at the moment, if St Kilda's injuries issue don't improve, to win the flag.
Well, the ball
But
is
next
tonight.
week's spot is the story.
It is, because they're playing the best side in the competition for the last 2.5 years, and already Mark Thompson will be saying we don't need any more injuries, but the acid will be on next week.
They've crossed the halfway mark of the 3rd quarter. McGuire, well, I'm sure he saw Cam Mooney. He's a big fella.
Well, I'll give the young fellow a little bit of credit. Look, at least he tried to take the game on, Jared. I know
No, that's fair enough.
He ran into a brick wall in his defence, but he tried to take the game on.
Free kick, Geelong, advantage play on. They'll run. They've got 3 on
Got
1
Ottens
here.
1-on-1.
And will he go long? No, he's going to go with a left-handed hand pass for Enright.
Nathan Ablett's looking very good here.
Okay, and Ablett or Ottens. Well, the Tigers, they might concede it behind. No, don't want to. Yet. And they do okay. McGuire.
Biggest cheer of the night is going to be when Matthew Scarlett goes forward and kicks one.
A lot of those Tiger fans have not returned from the half-time break. It is fair to say this crowd is significantly lower than it was for the first half.
You see Wojcinski get the ball there, tackle Tamling. He's a great matchup for Tamling. Tamling's super quick. Wojcinski's had a very good start to the year so far.
Those bays were packed for the first half. Milburn, handball deflected. Enright smooth.
Good hands.
Now
Great awareness.
An important game for Tenace tonight as well. And there's Mooney marking on the 50. He's going to lay it off. Gee, that's poor checking. It's Selwood. The first-year player joins in the fun. Geelong get their 28th. They've got 12 goal kickers now.
Well, Jared, I haven't seen much in the Tigers game in this third quarter to suggest that they're doing anything differently in this half than they were in the first half.
No, I have never seen a performance like this from Richmond, and it's it's clearly going to be linked. No matter what spin you put on it, it is clearly going to be linked to the Gasper decision. It's knocked too many people around, it would appear, because all we can see, Danny, is a group with no intensity, and that comes from the top, as in the senior players.
Yeah, there's no doubting that. Like, that was just far too easy for Selwood.
You can't get beaten this badly and be fair dinkum.
No, you're spot on.
They need one more goal to have the highest three-quarter time score ever. They've got 8.5 minutes. Tuck, boot the ball quickly to a one-on-one. Ling, Delidio, some holding. Ling the free.
We're going 50 here.
Well, this is a good challenge here for Brett Delidio. He's only had the 3 possessions. He's on one of the best taggers in the competition there in Cameron Ling. I think that's his best role, Jared, Cameron Ling, playing on the opposition on baller. So Brett's just going to have to work through this.
Selwood at full stretch against Kane Johnson. Good tackle. Johnson got the handball away to Foley. Tries to break the Corey tackle. Good smother by Kelly on the Pettifer kick. Jackson the knock on to Foley, the handball to Tuck. On the wing. Handball to Meyer. Gets away. High ball inside the 50. Richardson pushed out of it by Blake will get a free.
Well, that's probably the strength of Richo on the ruck pushing forward. He makes Blake play as a backman, and you could just see he was all at sea, the big fella. It was just referred pressure from Matty Richardson's strong marking ability.
Steve Johnson off the ground, and Gary Ablett gets another crack at it.
Richardson with 1 goal, 2, and 1 out of bounds from his 4 shots at goal tonight. And it's good. He gets his second, so 2 to Richardson, 2 to Hughes, White providing the other Tiger goal.
Well, one thing about Matty, he'll always want to get the ball in his hands, and he's probably, himself and Hughes are probably the 2 players that have had a crack. At least wanted to get the ball and want to do something for their teammates.
Well, I think Nathan Foley's been a worker for them, Spuddies. It's very difficult if you're in the midfield to get any benefit for your hard work, because you kick it forward, it goes straight back over your head. But for mine, Foley's done a pretty fair job.
Yeah, he's had 8 clearances, so he's been in and under.
703 for his career now for Richo. Perfect bounce. And the umpire, as Blake hits it out. Tuck. High one inside the 50. Oakley Nichols in front. Takes it on his chest.
I think Darren Milburn's surprised that actually came to him. He just almost conceded that one, which is unusual for him.
There's a block from Newman to try and free up Tambling. But I think Oakley Nichols is content to have a shot at goal.
Well, there's a bit of discussion last week about this kid's late kick. He could have kicked a goal, but he was Emily instruction to kick the ball in the air. And he's got a bit of work to do, Emily.
Foley mops up and misses to the left-hand side. 1 behind is the result.
Yeah, they had the Eagles under pressure, Spud, and Emily just popped it to the top of the square.
Yeah, look, he'll learn from that. He'll learn from that kick there too, Jared, because you just got to do the basics. Go back, get enough distance for the man on the mark.
Tenace with Tambling chasing. Good tackle not to get in his back. Well done from the Tiger. Affects the boundary throw-in. And a pat on the head from his captain, Kane Johnson. Throw-in on the outer wing. Blake and Richardson. Richardson the hit out. Ablett the little toe poke. Delidio alongside. Very quick hand pass. Comes out to White. Jackson. Centering ball for King. Varco's going to chase. This will be interesting. Who will recover first?
Well done.
Yep. King. In the end, Varco's going to win it on the 3rd effort.
Pretty good effort from Varco too.
Yeah, well, it's both effort from both boys there.
Bounced to his feet so quickly, and Johnson, well, saw the Indians arriving and got it away to safety. Scarlett goes long to the 50. Well, they were colliding with one another, the Geelong forwards. Nathan Ablett did well to keep his feet. Hawkins has done it again. Another assist for Tom Hawkins. And now Enright can have a shot from 45 for his first.
Well, what we're seeing tonight, Jerry, we know Tom Hawkins can come out of the square and take a mark, but up the ground, when he gets a big motor, he gets a bit more endurance, a couple of pre-seasons under his belt, his vision under pressure is first class.
I reckon we saw that against Carlton. He looks comfortable at centre-half forward as much as he does leading out of the square. In fact, out of the square, I reckon people will end up two-teaming him, dropping back, taking his space, and it's a bonus. Like Jonathan Brown, he may even be able to work through the middle of the ground.
Enright becomes Geelong's 13th goal kicker. And the score reaches 181. Remember, 239 is the highest ever VFL AFL score.
Is there any doubt that that will be broken?
I think there's still a big doubt.
Clinton, is this the highest three-quarter time score?
Yeah, highest three. They still need 10 goals, Jared.
Right.
I think the odds are still against.
Okay.
Highest three-quarter time score ever. This will go into the record books. The previous highest ever score to three-quarter time, Brisbane against Sydney at the Gabba in 93.
He's all over it,
27-17, 179.
We've still got 5.5 minutes in this quarter to go, Clinton.
It's a train spotter's delight tonight. 143 is the margin. There's more to come, perhaps.
Maybe we'll sell it there at the centre
look at the explosiveness. Botton's pushed out of it by McGuan. Now Bowden. Whoops. Heavy traffic arrived. Tuck. Caught. Otten's enjoying it.
Walk it out!
Gone.
Joel!
Free kick to Richmond for a hold.
Joel Bowden's! Didn't have the fault. Oh, Gary.
It's been the difference tonight. The tackling pressure.
Gary.
Tackling pressure at Geelong. They've always had the Richmond players under the pump.
Polak. Richmond next week begin the first of 2 games at Amy Stadium in back-to-back weeks. They're taking on Port Adelaide on Saturday afternoon. It's the Crows the following week. So the odds are likely that their losing run will be extended. Today they will equal the 1962 Tigers for the worst start in club history. Back then in 62 they beat North Melbourne in round 7, ended the year 5-13.
Yep, Richard.
Do you ever go to sleep, Clinton, or you just go to bed with stats? It's under your pillow.
Is he enjoying this?
It's just one of those nights, isn't it? It's just one of those nights. It's history making, but not of the kind that the Tiger fans wanted. Sure, they'll be flooding the websites over the course of the next 7 days, the chat rooms. 29-7 plays 5-8. We've entered time on to the third term. Still 4 minutes of playing time to go. Can Johnson get a free kick? No. Ottens. Milburn. Good hands for Kelly. Look at Ablett take off. Johnson, will he give it to Ablett? He goes longer. Charging out after it is Nathan Ablett, and Polak did well. Mark number 8 for Graham Polak after he had a dozen last week. This is Foley, who with now 23 possessions is the game's leading ball winner. 13 of those contested. A rookie list promoted player. Milburn unable to hang on to it the first time. Gets it back.
Too predictable there. It's clear they were going to try and chip it along the boundary line, maintain possession, and the intercept was always on.
The thing was, they went to 2-on-1. Matty Richardson had 2 players on him on the boundary line. They still picked the ball to him.
Scarlett to Nathan Ablett.
He's actually done quite well, Polak.
Yeah, and these are free to Ablett against White.
Matthew Scarlett, very keen.
Oh, yeah,
he's on.
He's very keen to get one.
He's going to get it. Now, does he go back and have a shot from 50?
Too right he does, Clinton.
He'll be disappointed. Dragging if he doesn't, in fact.
He's kicked 15 goals in his AFL career. He kicked 4 last year, 1 the year before that, 3 the year before that, so it happens rarely.
13 individual goal kickers, the Tiger, the Cats, before Matthew Scarlett.
Can he? Not enough carry up behind. He's disappointed.
Come back.
182 plays 38. 239, the magic number. Contest on the outer side. Ablett against Jackson. Ablett did well. Kelly.
Just doesn't lose his feet, Gary Ablett.
Corey. Elects to go long to the pocket. Milburn's gone back there. Can Mooney keep it in? He shrugs Joel Bowden. Goes a long way back but effective. Kelly's too far out. Drops it off, hoping for Corey to run onto it. Tuck from the side. Well done, Tuck. He's trapped it in. Corey's got him, holding the football in.
He's in trouble.
Wanting a free. Oh! The umpire started the movement and then said no.
Well, we'll have to have a look at it on the replay, but it looked like Tucky dragged it in.
I only think they're holding the ball, so they saw him at the last minute.
Kieran Nichols saying, there you go, saw him at the last minute. So Geelong deep in attack. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. They've kicked 9 this term. It was 10 in the first, 10 in the second, and Corey makes it not quite 10 in the third.
It's a great tap there by the big man. Brad Ottens.
5 metres from the square.
Flicked it out the back.
Here we see this last free here. Tuck did drag it in.
And
That's a free kick to Geelong.
Yeah.
Every day of the week. They've paid that for the last 18 months. Maybe Kieran Nichols was blindsided, was he?
Yeah.
Sided.
This will be Brett Delittio's first kick of the match. He finds Jackson on the wing. Final 90 seconds of a painful third quarter, like the previous 2 for Tiger fans.
Get it in there. Richo's on his own.
Hughes on the lead. And the free kick against Hawkins. Cleve Hughes will line up for his third goal of this quarter.
Good strong lead from Hughes and good play from Hawkins also. The ability to come back and come third man here. We see Hawkins. Yeah, looked impeded the mark a little bit, but yeah, it was too high.
Yep. So a chance now for Hughes to follow up his 3-goal effort in the loss to West Coast last week with another 3. There are his numbers.
You'd give this bloke a positive, Spud, would you?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Jared, no
Looking
doubt.
for positives tonight.
No.
It's going to be difficult for Richmond, but be happy if it goes through. Still a positive.
Yeah, 2 goals, 3, 7 marks, 13 possessions. 4 goals, 1 looks better. Missing half forward.
Milburn, entitled to chip to himself, had a spare 25 metres. This is Steve Johnson kicking to the wing. And Mackie runs it out. Remember, the Cats, without Chapman and Egan injured in the first half, won't come back. Fair to say, not required. Ottens gets rid of his man. Handball stolen by Newman for Rains. Time for a late goal, perhaps, for the Tigers. Long ball inside the 50, and Pettifer takes the mark.
Normally a very good kick, Kane Pettifer.
Nothing like the performance of last year, though. Kane Pettifer was a star last year. Really did up the ante. I'm not sure whether he slackened off over the summer or what has been the issue, but he just has not fired a shot like last season so far.
And his mood won't be improved by a miss there. So, after in their first quarter they kicked their best ever first quarter against Richmond, after kicking their best ever second quarter against Richmond, the Cats only equal their best ever third quarter against Richmond with 9 goals, 3. It's 183 to 39 in the final quarter. They need to get 57 points to own the world record outright for the highest score. Season, they're going to be enjoying a boost on the other clubs that share the same win-loss record. Will be 3-3 after tonight. Final term is go. Blake to Ablett. Long ball inside the 50. Tigers should get numbers back. Rains out for Bowden. He's had it now 17 times.
You'd expect the Tigers to have at least 5 minutes of unbelievable energy. And if they can kick a couple of goals, they may be able to, develop that and actually build on it. But if they can't get a score in the first few minutes and Cats do, well then it could be an avalanche.
Good mark. Pettifer near the boundary line.
Free kick down the ground, either to or against Matthew Scarlett.
It will be a 50 because that will be the greater advantage. So Pettifer will get the goal.
It's your 50. So here's the mark. So get out, please. Take in. Jared. Oh, you just threw him to the ground then. The guy who marked it was you.
Pettifer.
Here it is. When I've looked down, you just thrown it.
So Pettifer will get the opening goal of the final term. Might be still a bit of niggle remaining in this match.
Well, it's a good start there from the Tigers. Matty Scarlett didn't quite see it because we were watching Pettifer line up for goal. Obviously, it was between Jackson and Scarlett. Here we have a look at it. And there's a bit of a scuffle there. What? If that was the 50.
That was a 50.
Well, was it a 50, Jared?
Well, of course it wasn't a 50.
I can't believe that. Hayden Kennedy said that Scarlett threw Daniel Jackson to the ground.
Well, maybe there was more to it that we didn't see.
I don't think so. Oh, no wonder Scarlett's miffed. Because I'm confused.
Woolsey's not happy. Can he lose the mantle as the coach with the highest losing record?
He'd love to hand it to Terry. Blake to Ling. Away. Long to full forward. Can Ablett get back
they're
now?
dropping numbers back here, Tigers, with the ruckman, so they're going to have to pinpoint passes, not long bomb. Move the ball quickly in there.
Terry knows the pain Robert has endured for 15 years. King, Rames, over the top, Delidio. After a remarkably quiet night from the Tiger speedster, McGuan kicks Richmond inside 50. Johnson the spoil over Meyer, and it's over for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, you're right, Jared. Matty Richardson's in the ruck. He's just staying behind the ball.
Yep.
So Geelong will have to lower their eyes and widen their vision going forward.
You got a couple there now.
There's Matty on his own.
Newman working hard. Ablett there as well. Oakley Nichols on the 50. Foley, quick hands for Johnson. Tuck, back for Foley. Kick partially smothered, boundary throw-in.
Rangers also just across the half-back line by himself. Now pushed up to the wing. So it's going to be tough. If they can move the ball quickly, though, the Cats, they'll get into that forward line. And Danny, that's why, if you look at that forward line, that's why they can really press up hard if they can get their act together through the middle. So much talent down there with the Ablets, of course, with Mooney, Ottens,
right out of the contest and went underneath.
Tomahawk, and Varco at ground level.
Shane Tuck winning the free. Coming up for his 18th possession. The 25-year-old. He was third in the best and fairest a couple of years ago. 10th last year. Son of the all-time games record holder with a very nice kick. So the Tigers begin the final term with the opening 2 goals.
Well, all you can do is play out the game till the siren sounds, and they've kicked the 2 snags, 2 free kicks. But we'll have a look at this on the replay here. Blake just shepherding him off.
And Blake didn't really need to do that when he's rucking against someone like Tuck. Got a significant height advantage. It will be Richo who will ruck in the centre of the ground as we have a look at the Tuck kick. "22 goals is our margin." Blake. Newman sharking it, so Tigers getting some clearances now. Tenace is brought to ground.
Free kick, sure.
They're not getting much, it's fair to say, the Cats in this final term.
Well, 2 ticky touch free kicks for goals for Richmond, and Tenace definitely wore a free kick there. Like, he put his head over the ball, and 2 players basically just jumped all over him.
Good bounce.
Yeah, he's bouncing it all right, though. Richo's gone holding the ball.
So once you take the ball out of the ruck, you've lost your throw opportunity. If someone tackles you, you're gone. Like that.
It will come back.
Bobbled it up in the air as a throw.
They do the same regardless. Bartel to the wing. Target is Joel Corey. Good mark. Now, backs himself and runs away.
Just treated him with contempt. That's what's disappointing.
Look at the kick.
Cameron Ling. He has kicked 1 goal tonight. He got his in the first quarter.
Well, Brett Delidio is his direct opponent, and I know you're not having a good night, Brett, but you've still got to defend. Cameron Ling's pushed forward, and you've got to play as a defender. Just give Cameron Ling far too much space there.
Ling for Geelong's 30th goal. They're now 50 points away from the all-time record.
Well, it's been a slow start for the Cats in this world record attempt in the final quarter, but the next 5 minutes will tell, I think, Spud. I don't think they can leave it too late.
No, you're right. I suppose from Mark Thompson's point of view, it's pleasing, Jared. You say there's 30 goals. It's obviously got to be 33, 34 goals. It may be the record, but you'd think, well, how many's the full forward kick? Normally 8, 9. Yeah. The leading goal kicker's been 4. So it's been a real spread of goal kickers.
If you look at their forward line, they've got 4 full forwards. They've been rotating in and out of the square. Big Otto's down there now. Mooney started there. Nathan Ablett goes down there. Hawkins has been down there. So's Cameron Ling. So it's potent, it's flexible, and it's going to be tested next week.
Bartel going without it. Selwood shoveling it wide. Scrappy passage of play. Bartel, look at that balance.
The power through the contest was unbelievable there.
Still there too.
And he's going to be on the end of this kick, is he? Oh, the bounce eludes him. And Pollack read it well for Richmond. Rains. Running out is Johnson. Long to Oakley Nichols in front. Spearing the pass towards Richardson. Johnson can't mark. Jackson. Hughes. Fumble. Pettifer wants it deep. Hughes fumble again. Defers to Meyer. Scarlett did well not to give away a free. And we'll get a bounce.
A couple of sets of hands on that. That's mine. Thanks, guys.
Oh, there's a few fumbles in that passage.
Keep it tidy, guys. Don't hold. Don't hold. Play on. Play on. Yes, again.
Richmond free. Bartel doing the holding.
The umpires all over.
Yeah.
Geelong here at the moment inside the Richmond's forward line. It's the third free kick.
Tigers saying we wanted them last week.
And Geelong are saying we need the record.
Bartel, they're holding Tuck, and that's a good call.
Yeah, good call. It was there.
So Tuck now for his second in this final quarter. And it's Richmond who are peppering away. They've kicked 3 goals to 1 in the opening 9 minutes here.
Well, we can kiss the record goodbye because every goal Richmond kick, it means the ball's in their forward half. So Geelong just need to play 4 quarters of football. Just keep at it. Just keep going at the ball. Yeah, the free kick was definitely there.
And the finish was true in front of a now, well, less than half full stadium. Tiger fans disgruntled. And they've beaten the traffic a long time ago. The Cats fans, though, they're loving it. They're soaking it up. A 132-point lead.
You don't see the approach from a ruckman these days coming side on too often, but Richo's done it.
Selwood.
Joel Selwood's enjoyed it.
Varco the target. King there provides the spoil. Tuck will gather momentarily. Big tackle by Selwood. Kelly push. Play on the call. Varco to Ablett. Shovels it
back the Tigers.
Selwood.
Just mucking around with it too much under the pressure here now, Geelong. They're turning it over.
White. They've targeted Oakley Nichols a bit, and he's got it again. He's had 7 marks now.
That's a good kick.
Pettifer with Wojcinski to beat. In the back. Listen to the Cat fans. They're riding the man red.
I reckon they've been stiff by the umpires in this last 10 minutes. Let's see if he drops his legs. Pretty stiff, I reckon, Spud. I know he finished on his back, but the player with the footy almost dragged him down with him.
Could have been Clarn's the call. Ball up for mine.
Tigers with 27 possessions to 17 in this final term. Pettifer looking for his second of the quarter. And it's not coming back. They're behind. 30 goals, 9 plays, 8-10. Tigers will be 0-6 for the first time since 1962. Corey for Enright. Geelong will be 3-3, hosting West Coast at Skilled Stadium next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on Fox Sports AFL.
Tell you what, if that's not jam-packed, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Well, Richmond getting numbers behind the ball. This is why Milburn has to hold the play up. Let's try and spot a target.
And does. Enright
I wonder if the motivation of the world record was used by the Tigers at three-quarter time. Do not let this club own the world record. Remember Ron Barassi in the State of Origin match found out that they were 98 points down or something along those lines. It was the very first State of Origin match, and he sent the message out by way of motivation: do not get beaten by 100 points. Now, whether that's any consolation or not, it certainly didn't worry the West Australians too much who won.
Now Ablett waiting down. It's Nathan. He steps one. So Nathan has got 4. And now they're 44 points adrift of equaling the record.
Well, we needed that one, Jared. Look, Matty's played a very good game, Matty Richardson, or a fair game. He's tried hard, but he's the loose player in the back line after the ruck tap. And probably not enough talk here. He's running back to the flight of the ball. But Nathan Ablett, great awareness. Just knowing that, all right, I'll go front and square now. The ball's gone over my head. And great left foot snap.
I'm glad you've jumped on board, Spud, using the royal we.
I noticed that. I'm like, how rich is that?
Well, we've worked pretty hard, obviously, for this world record. It's not often you get a chance to be involved in a world record,
you're right.
Spud.
Well, just trying to add a little bit of colour, Clinton.
Oh, very colourful. 195 to 58. Otten's the hit out. Ablett over the top. He's 200 beckoning the next target. Kelly is brought down. Moore. Little dance past 1 and 2.
And get the full man.
It's White. White's away. Again, they target Oakley Nichols at half forward.
Got Richard Milburn at the moment. He's spot him up.
Oakley Nichols broke his collarbone late last year, playing just 4 senior games in his rookie year, going short here to the forward 50 and targeting Pettifer again. He's getting some shots at goal late. He elects to pass this one off, and it's Cleve Hughes coming up for his 6th shot at goal. He's got 2 goals, 3.
Have you seen Mackie as a defender, Spud?
Well, at times he just watches the ball, Jared. We see it here. He just expects Pettifer to go back. You're positioning in that situation. You've just got to play in front and force the forward wide. There's no way knowing that Mackie, if he'd have been in his game there, he should have been in front, sparring with him, just on his hip, forcing Cleve Hughes wide. When they lead up the middle like that, you've just switched off for half a second.
Hughes kicked 3 last week and has 3 tonight. So one positive at least to emerge for the Tigers from this destructive night at the Dome.
See Pettifer there, just put the ball to space.
Yeah, that's all right.
I suppose we can't be too critical for Mackie. He has kicked 4, Jared, so...
Yeah, but what you're saying is you want him in front, especially anticipating that lead.
Especially in the situation, or hip on hip.
Right.
At least force the guy wide. I suppose that the strong suit of him, I don't think he's super quick. I think he's very good in the air. I'd be interested to know what his leg speed's like.
Big Cleve?
Oh, Cleve's been good. No, Mackie. I'd like to know what his leg speed off the mark is like.
Since half-time, it's been 11-3 to 7-3. So the margin has only been 4 goals since half-time, and the margin was 107 points. So the Tigers are getting the freeze here in this final stanza. The video. With 1 kick and now 5 hand passes tonight. The record looks beyond them. 44 points to get. 10 minutes to get them. Ablett away. Good ball. Ling's got Johnson. Could go. More chasing. Johnson long. Nathan Ablett wants 5.
Well done, Pollack.
Yep, spoiled it well. Joel Bowden, dangerous handball to Raines. Got by 1.
Gone.
Can't get by Big Cam Mooney. What a tackle.
It started that way, Jared. Geelong at the start of the game, their tackling intensity was spot on. They've had a bit of a lull this 10 minutes in the last quarter, but these tackles, they have stuck all night.
Like a big bear wrapping him up.
Well, Geelong have kicked about 10 or 11 goals from tackling pressure and turnovers.
As good as directly in front. Mooney for his 3rd to cross the 200 mark. Well, the Cats of 07 might have to give way to the Cats of 92 for the record. They need to take every chance from here. 9 minutes to go.
Could be a bake by Bomber Thompson after the match.
Should be. Billy Brown will also be celebrating now. He was part of that 92 team.
Dangerous kick.
Oh, wing.
Don't speak too early.
It's not over yet. Bouncing it to the square. Chance for Geelong. Bartel's done everything tonight.
Clark is again.
So why not add your name to the goal-kicking list? He becomes their 14th goal kicker. They crossed the 200 mark, and they've now got to get 37 points in the last 8:42.
Well, again, we just see that goal. Great kick there from Ling. Just kept at it. Cameron Ling. As you see Bartel, just strength.
He deserves to be in the spotlight at the end of the match, though, because he's, with that, I think with Gary Ablett, he's been they've been the best still on the ground. I've really enjoyed his work tonight, and I followed his season pretty closely. He's been one of the most consistent cats, and a little one there just to go on with.
Richmond have never conceded more than 211 in a game, ever. And that was by Geelong in 89.
I'm sure there are some records you've missed, Clinton, but I'll tell you what, you've got just about all of them.
Scarlett. Now Johnson. And they're doing it without Egan and Chapman in this second half. Hamstrung by way of the bench.
This is the bloke who's going to put a show on one day.
A lot of excitement for the boys from Corio Bay. Oh, that's Polak riding the bump. White.
One of the few tackles ever broken tonight by a Richmond player.
Richardson missed it. Milburn doubles back. Should have time. Good Shepherd in right. Still working for one another. Corey. Out wide.
Mooney's on.
Mackie. Thought about him. Brings it back to Steve Johnson. He's done enough on his return. Now he's gone towards Bartel. He's going to run onto it in the pocket. Well, he's gone for the soccer, and that does not come off. Rains hears it from the Geelong supporters. 32-11 to 9-10. On a night billed as Geelong's most important since their semi-final against the Swans back in 2005. They've delivered everything their supporters could have hoped for, and then a whole lot more.
I reckon Richo stood up pretty hard.
Oh, he certainly has.
Pretty well in the second half.
Good running from Newman here.
And Newman can have a shot at goal here. He keeps it low and spears it into the post.
Almost play on. There's nobody guarding the mark.
7 minutes to go. 6 goals required to match the all-time record score.
Spud, what do you do if you're the coach right now of the Tigers in the next 2 or 3 hours? I mean, how do you address this with the players? Do you do it tonight or do you do it tomorrow?
There's 2 ways you can do it, Jared.
What would you do? Give me your way.
I think in the morning, I'd say, boys, I'm not going to talk to you tonight. Go home, have a good think about it, and we're going to watch the game. We're going to watch the first quarter, probably. The 4 quarters would be like a slow Chinese torture, I would have thought. But we'll just show the first quarter, and that'll be enough, just to say, well, boys, we didn't turn up, we didn't compete. You know, we're paid to turn up and play, but you've got to compete. It's an unrelenting game, AFL football. It's ruthless. They had to know that Geelong were going to come out with all guns blazing, but they didn't absorb any pressure whatsoever tonight, the Tigers.
Mooney goes long to the top of the square. Who's waiting down? More of the Tigers lost it.
That's a good tackle.
Bartel on range.
That's a great tackle. No opportunity. Good decision from the umpire.
And in the morning, I'd want some input from the players.
Yep.
Bring your comments to the table. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for the coach. I was in the box. You guys were out there.
So do you drop anybody?
Well,
off the ground.
there's a
It's
goal.
another goal. The soccer kick is good. And the man who got boot to ball was Tenace. And he becomes their 15th goal kicker.
Is that a record, Clinton? 15 goal kickers in a game. Come on, let's do
You've
it.
got so many fingers there on the hand.
You've been on fire all night. Jared, I've been like a broken record, but how many goals have Geelong kicked there tonight? It's just been far too easy. We're talking 15 metres out, a stoppage.
Yeah.
Like, that's basic football. And I want the players in the morning, Jared, getting back to the Tigers, put names on it. Don't say we didn't do this. put your hand up. Put your hand up and be accountable and be honest about it.
2:09 plays 65. 5:45 to go. They need 5 more goals. The Geelong. Here's White. Tigers leading.
Speed White.
Yeah, and a long kick. Well, that will be advantage goal. No, it'll be a Geelong free kick. No goal. Hands in the back of the call. The crowd tonight, well, those that were here earlier, a beauty. 34,584.
So do you axe anybody, Spud? Or do you just say...
I think it's very difficult, Jared, to pin it on 1 or 2 players. I think it's just about impossible to pin this performance on 1 or 2 players. No doubt.
Down to 5 minutes to go. Geelong with just 4 majors in this final term, the same as the Tigers.
This place worked hard.
They've had a handful. And awkward looking kick, Geelong with men back.
Just got himself a little bit on the wrong foot, as we saw.
Just 1 bounce too many there from young Tucky. Been saying that, Jared, if the VFL team, Coburg by reports, is going really well, you've got to perform good performances.
Yeah. Well, Terry Wallace has said that there's guys pushing up from the reserves. That's why blokes have been axed. Somebody's got to get him more exposure, because clearly this is not about playing finals footy for the Tigers. This is about seeing what they've got and building. And this is unacceptable. I mean, he's got to make a statement, doesn't he? This is unacceptable.
No doubt. There'd be a fair bit of match practice, I would have thought, early in the week, Tuesday. They wouldn't have a bruise out there tonight. Seriously, they wouldn't bruise it great.
Bring your mouth guard to training as Ling marks with 4 minutes to go.
Well, disappointment for the Heritage's #1 member.
Oh, the bottle is back on the shelf.
Robert Walls will be there, just gnashing his teeth, but he'll have his say on the couch.
Hawkins will try and make it with this kick, Geelong's highest ever score against Richmond and the most points ever conceded by Richmond in a single game. So, an element of history for this young Cats group. Hawkins, by the way, lining up for his 4th goal in the second half.
If he kicks this clean, he'll be the 4th player Geelong to have 4 goals next to their name.
That's a record for a night match at the Dome in May. Hawkins kicks it. Oh, we're just being silly now, aren't we? 3 minutes to go. They're up to 215. That's 24 points short of the all-time record. The lead is 150. The all-time greatest winning margin, by the way, they won't reach. That's 190 for Troy and Melbourne back in '79 at Waverley.
It's a bit of work to do for McGuan here.
Yeah.
Spud, I mean, he's just been in a position, I think, affect the spoil a couple of times, and he hasn't been able to do it. We saw Hawkins there just turn his body a little bit, knowing that McGuan was going to come on the right-hand side and try and punch. But he just protected the ball with his right shoulder, which was pretty good work.
Umpire's still bouncing it well. Nathan Ablett is caught, got the hand pass away. Varco, he's slippery. And he feeds it out wide to Milburn. Goes back to Varco. And that was good play by the Cats. Milburn for Bartel. Finishing with some run. Is there another one waiting for them? Steve Johnson has kicked 2 in his return. He's caught there by Foley. Foley's been one of those Tigers that hasn't stopped.
He's been Richmond's best by a mile.
Yeah. Tackling range. Oh, he's pinned him for holding the ball like they don't need any more insult.
You're right, Jared. 10 clearances, 13 contested possessions, 28 possessions for Nathan Foley.
Mooney over the top. Johnson on the run. Gets the Tigers in the air. His kick dies on its way to the square. And Bowden concedes. White in the back pocket. And now, loose men. Here's Hyde. Coming up on 2 minutes to play. McGuan goes deep. Newman at the back. Pettifer, Enright. Kept his footing well. Gathers the foot. He's got Blake. Oh, big man's got space. What are you going to do, Mark? Well, that wasn't what they were expected, but still. They keep the footing. A bit of unpredictability about them. Scarlett to Corey. Good ball to the wing. Kelly should take off here. Good run by Mooney. Kick's going to make him work. Time for a party trick towards Ling. He's got rid of Delidio.
Oh, big mark from Big Red.
Well, it was a big grab. And he's played a fantastic game, Cameron Ling. He's really turned his...
Big ear, hasn't he?
Oh, his form around. And this, Mark Thompson's got it right with Cameron Ling. He's playing on the opposition.
What's he done here, Dan?
No, that's just the way he landed.
His cramp, hopefully.
Yeah. Look, last year, Cameron Ling, all due respect, he was getting 35 touches.
Yep.
And Geelong were losing games of football. Now he's having his 17, 18 touches, playing in the opposition better play. We've seen the replay here. I think he just landed a little bit stiff-legged, Jared.
Okay.
For goal number 35 tonight for Geelong. Ling kicks his third. As it stands right now, this is the 8th highest score in the history of the game.
And just to finish it off with Cameron Ling, I think he's got his right spot. Mark Thompson needs to be congratulated for the form and what he's done with Cameron now. He's playing on Brett Delidio. Now, Brett's got to find something here. You know, Ling's kicked 2 goals in the last couple of minutes. He's only had the 6 possessions, Brett. And it's just the next phase in his career. You know, he's going to be a very, very good player, Brett Delidio. He'll learn a hell of a lot from playing on a guy such as this. He's got a big motor. He's got great concentration skills. A fine effort from Cameron.
157 points is the margin. Is there time for one more on this amazing night for Geelong? Truly remarkable. We came here expecting them to give it some sort of effort, but not quite to this extent. It's been staggering.
Right. Up into it.
Well, Richie Beno would be pleased with his final score.
Give it to us, Jared.
I wouldn't go near it. Out of respect for the great man, wouldn't go near that.
Don't block. Watch the arms, fellas. Watch the arms. Get him up. Get him up.
Umpiring to the bitter end, and that's what it's been for the Tigers. Well, he warned them. Delidio the free, advantage play on. Here's King. Had it 12 times. Rains trying to bomb it from long range. Oh, good hands by Mackie, who's spent the second half down in defence. He kicked 4 goals in the first half.
With 20 seconds to kick a goal here, the Cats.
An outside chance.
Yeah, they give it to Varco.
Wants to run, the veteran. Centering ball, awkward. Look out.
Tough.
Don't get injured now. Blake is tied up. They'll stop the clock. Well, Mark Thompson and his team can take a bow. They're 3-3. They're in the top 8, and they host the unbeaten Eagles next week at home. It's going to be a beauty. What a night for Geelong. A record-breaking night at the Dome. They equal the 8th highest score in league history. A 35-goal avalanche as they smash the Tigers to the tune of 157 points. They kicked 10 goals in the first term, 10 goals in the second term, 9 in the third, and 6 in the last. They had 15 goal kickers. Nathan Ablett kicked 4, Hawkins 4, Chapman 4, Mackie 4, Varco 3, Gary Ablett 3, Cameron Ling 3. It was quite simply one of the more extraordinary performances you will see. Lee Colbert is with Gary Ablett.
Gaz, 8th highest score in the history of the game. Unbelievable from the Cats today.
Oh, really, mate? Yeah, look, I don't think we're worried about that. You know, we sat down. We were very disappointed with the last 2 weeks, and, you know, the guys, the leadership guys organised a meeting during the week to sit down and find out what's going wrong. And we knew we were going to bounce back this week and, you know, stick to our game plan. And, yeah, the result showed, so, yeah.
And a little bit of kick-to-kick with Nath. I reckon the Meadowvale drives come through, mate. There was plenty of that going on today.
Oh, don't worry about that. I've already told the rest of the forward line if Nate's leading, don't bother lead because I'm down to him. So
Beautiful insight.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Well, taking the water, obviously.
Well done, Lee. Thank you for that. Oh, wow. This is something.
You have a look at Gary Abbott's numbers, 32. That's just have to be nearly a career high. Contested possessions, 9. 6 clearances, 12 handball receives, 7 inside 50s clip and 3 goals. I'm tipping he's had about 5 or 6 assists, so great game.
We'll come back, talk more about it. Our digital subscribers can stay with us for the press conferences as well, as the Cats win a landslide by 157 points. A simply extraordinary night at the Telstra Dome. It started early. Geelong kicked the opening goal just 3 minutes in through Travis Varco. They had 10-1 on the board by quarter time. By half time, the match was over. It was 107 points the difference, 20 goals 6 to 2 goals 7. The Cats lost Chapman and Egan at half time. It didn't matter. They rammed on 9 goals to 3 in the third term. They finished with 6 goals to 4 in the last. 15 goal kickers, the list headed by 4 players kicking 4 goals. Mackey, Nathan Ablett, Hawkins and Chapman. Gary Ablett, a great night with 32 possessions and 3 goals, all coming in the first half. Cleve Hughes kicking 3 goals for the Tigers. The Cats fans, well, they went through the ringer much like their team this week after 2 straight losses. People coming tonight talking about the very future of the coaching staff of this club, and they respond to players with a simply extraordinary performance. They're now 3-3. They're 6th on the ladder as it stands right now, and you come away from this and you say what we said after the night against Carlton.
Yeah,
they're one of the best teams in the competition.
Well, I still think they are, and I think that they're the best side at the moment in Victoria. But that means nothing, really. I mean, there's so many good sides outside of Victoria, Clinton, but they've got a great chance. I think it's going to be a great game down at Skilled Stadium against the West Coast. They rated it and abetted, I think, by a decision made by Richmond and Terry Wallace to axe Darren Gasper. Okay. They've got 7 days now to get them set for an early final, and I think if they can do that and do that successfully, then the whole season may blossom.
For our digital subscribers, stay with us. Press red now. We've got lots more to come from the Telstra Dome. For everyone else, enjoy the Cats song. It was an awesome performance tonight here at the Dome. Good night.